I did it, guys.
Oh.
It took me 5 days. But I watched all 45 episodes of Kamen Rider Zero-One.
He did.
Amazing.
I was there while he was doing most of it.
Is that a bit, or did that actually happen?
Oh, he actually did that.
He
This
did
is
that.
not
Oh,
a bit.
that's
Yeah.
actually awesome.
I told him and he did it.
I did it. And then I realized how dumb I was because I'm thinking, oh, 5 episodes a day in a week? Oh, I can get 45 done. I didn't realize 5 times 7 is 35. Until halfway through my binge. So I was like, oh, and then I proceed to watch 10 more episodes in one day.
Flubbing the math is totally a thing Gar would do.
You know what I am, though? I'm a screenwriter, and you know what else I am? I cue that motherfucking roll call.
Hey.
We are live!
Loading.
Tempered Zeal! Bluecaster, Super Ichi!
Loud and impulsive. Greycaster. Late.
Illuminating the Tokuverse. Goldcaster Garza.
A spark of courage, the power of dreams. Orange caster, global soft perka.
Power of anime runs through my veins. Crimson Caster. Joe Raven.
Broadcasting hundreds of opinions across the world!
Radio Sentai Castranger.
Welcome to episode 309 of Radio Sentai Castranger.
Sweet, 2 more episodes and we get to talk about more Samurai Flamenco.
It's episode Electric.
It's funny, we were all talking about cats, and then the Pokemon of the week is a dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Miniature
When I was little, I thought it was called Electric A.
I don't know. When I see Pokemon names now, all I see is gibberish.
I mean, there are 900 of them.
But, like, I don't try to pronounce their names. I'm just like... I'm like ProZD. Go peek of shit.
Piece of shit.
I forgot how dope Mega Manectric looks.
What
Yeah.
the fuck? That looks killer.
That's
Oh,
shit.
oh, that's
That's Mega Manectric.
Back in Gen 6,
Yeah.
I named mine Goku.
Yeah, and then
Because he went from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 3.
Oh.
Armorhide and I have been disagreeing on who's cooler, Vdramon or XVmon, and I maintain that XVmon is cooler, but when you get up to Mega level, All-Force Vdramon is king.
But XVmon has wings.
Exactly.
That doesn't have wings.
Exactly.
So what are we? Seriously, what are
Castranger?
Absolutely nothing.
we? are a bunch. We are.
We are a bunch of Pokemon who get together every week who learn to speak human words.
Occasionally.
I had
Some
Adrian.
of us more accurately than others.
I'm sorry, but there's no better version of Vmon than fucking Magnamon.
It's not a version of Vmon, it's an evolutionary stage.
Okay.
It's an
That's the best
armored
version.
evolution.
Magnamon's fucking dope.
But yeah, we're talking about the finale of.
We're not done with the intro. You baited me into it. We are a group of Pokemon who learn to speak human words who get together every week to talk about Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, and a third
We're
thing.
Metsubojinrai.net.
Well, there's 5 of us this week.
Sure?
You and you.
Ah!
What the fuck? I am ultra done.
You're ultra bullshit.
Ultra bull.
Oh, Gar, you gotta keep that.
That's an Ultra Ranger
Gar,
shirt.
you've been called out.
But I was going to show you the parody of Mazinger. There he is. He was going to be in the Car Ranger finale, but then the creator of Mazinger said no.
Oh, so he was
So
like,
we
that's
were like,
too
but-
close. That's too
But
close
we
to
already
Mazinger.
made the...
That's way too close to Mazinger.
And they're like, but we already made the suit. We did press photos. No.
Still not.
Ah, it's Mazinger! Due to international copyright laws, it is not Mazinger.
Still, we're sure like it is Mazinger! No, it isn't. So yes.
Mazinger should have used ExpressVPN.
Shut up! But you know what I forgot to use today? Skip the dishes. Use our code in the description.
And more of a new breed, Sky.
I'm more of a make my own damn food kind of guy.
You do that. So this
Sure, I
week,
got a sub from Subway today.
Because there are coupons in the mailbox.
this week we are talking about Kiramager episode 21, and Kamen Rider Zero-One, the finale, episode 45, but also sneaking it in right under the finish line, episodes 1 and 2 of the Everyone's Daily Life anime. Because
spoilers, they sucked. Moving on.
They were kind of funny.
Butterbur shoots.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But in true Castranger tradition, whenever we do the end of a series, we always, instead of a proper feature topic, because these were only like 10 minutes, we're going to do a series retrospective and talk about our opinions on the show as a whole.
Yes.
So, since that is going to be the primary chunk of our content, as per tradition, we will begin with Kiramager.
Kiramager!
It was really funny. Moving on.
Kiramager changers can have a weather app on them.
Is this the last time I get to speak?
They do.
We're done talking about Kiramager. Zero-One time.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
I'm okay with this.
Can I at least have 5 minutes?
Fine.
Alright, so the
episode-
evil white bitch.
The episode starts with "Everyone loves Marineland."
That's
Oh
a
my
Canadian
God, I
joke.
wasn't even
You guys
thinking
don't
of
get
that.
that.
That's false advertising, and it's funny because Marineland doesn't actually use that anymore.
Don't presume what I love.
That's
But-
like
but
the
I-
entire reason.
I really like that the uniform for working there includes a shark eating your head hat.
Oh, yeah, but if one person goes to Marineland and they're like, I didn't love it, then it's false advertising.
Take it down.
Oh no!
I deserve a full refund.
Yep.
I didn't love it.
Yep.
You're
I
advertising
would have done
lies.
that. I would have went to Marineland and I would have been like, I didn't love it.
I almost loved it, but
You want to
Not
know
quite.
when I went to Marineland? When, like, in the middle of fucking winter, for some reason.
why would you do that?
I don't know. I think it was like something about my mom's work gave us free tickets to Marineland every year for Christmas.
Because it's
I mean, Niagara Falls is pretty fucking
So it's
cool
like
in the winter.
it's like the opening to fucking Spy Kids 3 where it's like he's solving the mystery about the water park.
Water park.
Where'd all the water
it's
go?
winter.
It's
yeah.
winter. It's not gonna fucking open.
Raven, you whore!
What
He
happened?
stole my last cookie.
Oh, cool.
You owe me a new box of
No, he
cookies.
doesn't. He doesn't owe
I
you
went to
anything.
Marineland one time,
You
and
know
I
that?
barely remember anything, except I remember I saw a deer there, and I remember thinking, but that's not a marine animal.
Deer can swim.
Little known to you, they are the greatest marine animals of all time.
Yeah, and I was just like, that's not correct. It's supposed to be Marineland.
They'll do the antler stroke. Anyway, what is really fucking messing me up is why no humans in the show are reacting to Mabushina.
Ichi, it's been 45 damn years since Sentai started. I think they're used to monsters walking around.
Also, I'm just gonna point out there was literally no one in that aquarium except them and the tour guide. The tour guide has literally been guiding them around this entire time. We don't know what
Send
she's
a letter to the
saying.
tour guide, like, beware, we're bringing a person who is like a rock alien with an unmoving face.
Yeah, but
Wow, I didn't know we were selling that in the gift shop.
So I'm waiting for the eventual to someone to just see Mabushi and just be like, ah!
Just to pull the face of that woman from Hentai Kamen?
No, okay, last week, Raven, you weren't here. It was another like clip episode, or not clip episode, but basically like episodic episode, where one of the high schoolers that the Red Ranger goes with, their hands get stuck together because it's a glue monster. It realizes the mechs can talk. She sees Mabushina, and her response is, "The Rock Girl's talking."
Well, she was very.
No screaming, just
took it
very
pretty
dull.
well, yeah.
Just it's talking.
Kill it. I showed Raven the
It's like
clip
Sp-
of the fucking glued up Megazord.
Uh-huh.
That was fucking good.
But yes,
That was, at very least, a really nice tongue-in-cheek little moment. Yes, okay, I'll give it that.
Yes.
so yes, this episode featured the second Granter Stone.
Kanayama Stone.
I go by overtime. They call them Granter Stones because they grant wishes.
That's not what they're called, though. That's just the translation of the name. We've been over this. Overtime, you're not supposed to translate proper names. You leave a translator's note once and then leave it alone!
You fucking tell that to TV Nihon, too, with their fucking translations of
Where?
satellites and fucking zero.
How do I pronounce this?
There was actually debate on whether it was Zaya or there, though. That was the problem. Because I'm pretty sure we saw it printed in both ways. In the show.
So, and this one was the Reversio Stone.
Yes.
It can reverse or forward time.
And it looks like a dollop of pressed toothpaste.
It
Or
does.
according to Link, it looked like
A jawbreaker.
Jawbreaker.
That
That's it.
too.
I used to spin on
They
this thing.
all kind of look like those gourmet chocolates with like those really fancy shiny finishes on the outside. So I'm just imagining someone being like, "Oh, it's one of those gourmet chocolates," and just biting it.
Go.
Yeah. We get to see Blue practicing his new sword whip technique, which of course he ends up using later.
Good continuity because he was teaching himself more sword techniques in an earlier episode.
Yeah, well, he plays a swordsman, so it's pretty on brand.
So it's good to see that he's still practicing.
Yeah, he's not just an actor; he actually puts it to use.
I put my acting to a good use
Acting talent.
with my great acting talent.
And so we start seeing random people getting yoinked into the fucking sky, and we follow them to find out they're getting pulled through a black hole.
But later on we see that, but the first two, it's like, what you wish for? Oh, I can't say. Yay! I guess he wished to be a Q Ranger.
He just gets yoked into the sky, and I'm like, I guess he wished he could fly.
And then she goes flying too. It's like,
I want to go to space. My wish is
When I get older, I'm going to go to the moon. Why wait?
now I'm just thinking of the genie from freaking Fairly Odd Parents. Just see,
Oh, Norm
could
the
just
Genie.
sent him to Norm the genie. You could have just sent him to space. He can't breathe. But no, make up all these freaking Looney Tunes style wishes when you could have just wished them to space.
Yep. So, following the trail of people getting yoked, we find the fucking fishing rod Jamin. It might be the dumbest design I've seen so far because it has its fucking weapon sheathed in front of its face.
I fucking love the monsters in these shows. Or in Kiramager.
They're really good.
Just, I especially like when they try to guess what it is. They're like, multiple hand mask. No. Oh.
No, this one is just straight forward. It's just a fucking fishing rod.
Does he have magic herps?
Maybe.
It's nothing but magic herps.
That's the old rod.
Oh, so this is the good rod. So he has a gold.
No, it's the people rod.
Oh, it's the people rod. And I heard normal types aren't that good.
So yeah, it apparently fished this fishing rod Jamin apparently fished up Kanayama Stone Reversia from this random ass giant hole that Takamichi happens upon.
Oh yeah, because sinkholes are a thing.
Yeah, right. They're just around.
I just want to presume that it is just a sinkhole.
Like it's the one thing in this episode that seems sort of like anticlimactic and not well thought out is just the fact that the Reversio Stone was just flying around in this hole that was dug up and fished out. Like the previous stone, Destroya, had such fucking pomp and circumstance behind it because it was like in this giant mansion.
No, wait. To go back to Pokemon, it's the freaking mystery caves in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum.
Oh.
When you go down to the mining field and you dig out the stones. You guys didn't like that? I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought you were going to reference the underground secret bases from 3rd Gen.
Oh, I never use those.
Neither.
I did. It was fun to make your little room with you could set it up like your own little gym.
Yeah.
My gym is go fuck yourself.
I remember I got the Whalmer plushie in my room in my house, and I loved it.
So of course Sheena starts to curse glow or whatever, and she gets the Y emblem in her eye.
I was questioning. It's like, how'd she know it was that emblem? And I'm like, she's literally. It's on her eye. She can see what it is.
Not really.
It'd been funny if we see her perspective and you just see this like big purple Y in like half of her face.
Or, maybe it's because the Red Ranger just fucking said it out loud while on the phone with Takamichi while she was literally lying there 2 feet from him.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Or that. It's not like I'm an alien or something.
So we get a flashback to the witch that caused the curse, Numajo, who apparently has like a sister red witch named Minjo. But like, so they fight a bunch and it's pretty cool. But then like, Numajo's face goes all freaking Mortal Kombat horror and just spits out this poison and freezes what we later find out is called the Aqua Kirame Stone, which is probably going to be the impetus for the new Zord next week. And rusts it out so it's disabled. And as she's dying, she goes into this long-winded speech. I curse you, but not you specifically, the woman you love the most. Whenever she gets in our wire, I shall die in 7 days.
So it's the ring. I also love how the king had to think of who the woman he loved was.
Because he had a little split-second moment of wife, daughter,
All right, I guess that's the parent you would.
See, that's probably the actual answer, but meanwhile, I'm over here thinking like Aladdin had, as like the king, had a bunch of side hustles, so he's just thinking to himself, "Oh fuck, which one?"
So bold, like you're saying that he had concubines.
I mean, you never know.
No, I'm just thinking of Family Guy. The final plague is the death of the first son. Oh no, Meg, your firstborn son. Stewie, your wife. Chris.
Concubines. Ugly concubines. Mulan, now on Disney Plus.
Oh.
So they...
I was just tired of looking at Greg Universo.
Sure.
There's a screen cap of Kappa Mikey.
Oh, yeah. Which is now on YouTube.
Yeah, it's now being uploaded to YouTube in nice high quality definition.
That's cool.
You know, I rewatched Kappa Mikey a couple years ago and I loved it. I started rewatching it again when you told me about that, and I don't know what it is, but this time Mikey is just so fucking cringe.
How the fuck did that show get greenlit? How was that a thing? How did I watch that?
No, it's a distraction dance!
Anyway, so the fucking plot rain happens, which is...
The very next day.
Yeah. We come into the carrot base, and Sayo is just collapsed over a giant-ass whiteboard with this long, scientifically detailed plan to find the fucking monster. And she promptly lifts her head and says that it's useless. Rawr. Well, I want to, like, go back and read what any of that was, if it's even readable. Because, like, wow.
I think the word you were looking for is eligible.
Legible.
I'm a screenwriter.
Eligible.
As the screenwriter of the group,
You're eligible to be legible.
Word Naito.
No.
So
Tired of that.
they figure out that because the monster has the Reversio Stone and it has the ability to travel through time, the monster has in fact been fishing randos through a time black hole, like to a day separately.
It traveled.
It's weirdly convenient.
So it's literally.
Oh wait, no, never mind. He's using the stone to do that. I'm an idiot.
So he's using the stone to fish randos through a black hole in the sky into the next day, and apparently doing so is charging dark energy.
Wait a minute. Magical power stones, a group of 6, time travel. This is just fucking Avengers Endgame. This is just Avengers Endgame.
Time heist.
What if we go back in time and find Baby Garza and just...
Baby Garza?
First off, you're wrong. First off, that's awful. It's Garza. Jinx.
Yeah.
So, the Blue Ranger literally uses his new sword whip technique to...
His name is
Shigeru.
I know what his name is!
Okay, we gotta stop saying the same thing.
We need to stop
Then
finishing
fucking refer to him as his name.
We need to
not
stop
Blue
finishing
Ranger.
each other's sandwiches.
That's what I was gonna say.
So Kirame Blue!
Finish each other.
So Kirame Blue!
That's what I was gonna say.
So Kirame Blue uses
Shigeru.
his new fucking sword whip technique to literally fish the time stone away from the monster.
Smash!
That was so fucking anticlimactic.
Yeet.
Well, he was training for it, so.
To
At least
defeat
there was some foreshadowing and
the
it didn't come out of
Huns.
nowhere.
Sure, but like it completely like killed any tension from the fight that was going on.
Not that version.
He literally just fished the stone out of the dude's hands or whatever. I mean, I don't know why this got me, but Sayo just escorting people through the time hole while calmly exclaiming, "Please go back to yesterday," just fucking slew me for some reason.
Yeah.
It wouldn't alter the timeline. Maybe.
We hope.
Please load your previous save state. Thank you. Goodbye.
Don't step on any butterflies.
Yeah.
Stupid bug, you go squish them!
Now, Marty, you've got to make sure to not cross into yourself. Otherwise, we're going to cause a massive paradox.
Decker,
or everything will be fine.
Decker, could you do me a favor in that picture of that gray-bearded Hulk that I posted earlier? Can you gray the fuck out of it for me? Please?
All right.
Is it already gray?
No,
But I mean, like, gray hair. Get rid of the white on that fucking body.
Decker,
You heard it here. Lane hates white.
Decker, this is what you got to do.
No.
Take the Back to the Future poster and replace Marty's head
With Grey Hulk.
with Shigeru's.
Do that too, Decker. Thank you. Remember,
Anyway.
there's my personal Photoshopper.
You see this? This is my foot. And it's going to go up your ass if you smack
Sure,
me
thanks,
again.
Red Foreman.
All right, Kurtwood Smith. Moving on.
At least
I
he
don't
got
know
his
what's
name.
going on.
My favorite bit in the whole episode is how they finish off the monster. The Silver Ranger just takes his fucking drill, his pile driver, activates the Hisats, and with absolutely no pomp and circumstance, rather than fire off a big, showy, animated drill attack, he just fucking runs it right into him and stabs it through him.
Well, Ash Williams on him.
Sounds about right.
Man, that got me too. And then we get one of the more amazing Jumanjus of the series. It starts out as a fucking boat driving through the city streets.
The boat's a boat, but the Jumanju could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we always wanted to fight one of those.
Nah. We'll take the box.
And then we find out it's a fucking land shark type deal.
It's Gigan, alright? He's starving for money.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we meet Motorboat Basra, which is this
It's Skybite.
this creature that can hide itself by looking like a boat plowing through the city streets and then pounces at them like a shark.
Baby
It was
shark.
kind of badass.
Do sharks pounce?
You know what I mean?
It's Skybite. It terrorizes them with his poetry.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, Skybite was a big poet.
Hey, Skybite was the best part
Or
of the
in
show.
Japan, it was haikus.
I don't think they killed the monster. The episode
No,
just
no,
kind of
it
abruptly
ended.
ends.
No, it's a two-parter because we gotta continue into Kiramager Endgame next week. This was Kiramager Infinity War. We had to get the stones back.
Next week is going to be going back to the past to save the Zord that hopefully won't suck ass.
Oh yeah, because there was the Kirame Aqua Stone.
Yeah.
Which I'm just thinking, damn, what would Kirame Aqua look like?
I thought that's what he was calling the Blue Stone.
No.
No, he said
No, because Aqua died.
No.
He got rusted.
Yeah, so they're going to save him, and he's going to turn into Mashin Zabun, the shark train.
Yes.
And that's why we're going to get the new King Express combo.
Yeah, because I like that the one with Smug Jokey is just like a kit bash. It's not actually like...
They're
the
literally
official
like,
one.
oh, we need King Express, but Jokey's not coming! Fuck! Garza's getting smart.
Garza's getting smarza.
Garzma.
It's Cup!
Cup.
Fucking best Autobot ever.
Respect your elders, everyone.
Yep, exactly.
That's Cup with a K.
Named Cup.
Cup was the true hero of the Transformers movie.
This...
Week Grana, Week Ninny Bong.
You know how I say this reminds me of this? Yeah, I got that from Cup. Because that reminds me of Cup.
Yeah.
Everything reminds you of somewhere else. So...
Anyways, before we move on, Emily, any closing thoughts on the Kiramager episode?
For some reason, I just can't get over the idea that the Kiramager has a weather app on it.
Right? That was so funny!
That just really got me. Like, it just hit me like a train. And I don't know why. Like, I for some reason, it just changed the entire episode for me. Like, all I could think of was, after that happened, was, it has a weather app?
I just love that he's standing in the rain.
Yes, and he still checks it! I never even thought of that.
My favorite part of the whole episode was just Garza calling Takemichi an idiot.
Fucking nephew.
Oh, right, there was a funny joke. It's like, Garza, what are you laughing at? Oh, I'm just thinking about the time when I invaded Crystalia.
Oh yeah, your nephew wasn't there, wasn't he? Yeah, because he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's like you have Garza over there just maniacally laughing at himself about freaking genocide.
Yeah, you just see
Remembering
shots of him like invading Crystalia and killing his brother, and he's just like, ha 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 ha.
Remember when I killed everyone?
I feel like you just put like the Disney logo over his face, and you just see all the different things they've bought over the years.
Oh man.
No, it's Mickey Mouse's face and all the properties.
No, that one shot of him like zooming out and then you see all the memories going around him. My immediate reaction was Marvel Studios.
Great, now I'm just thinking of the Sergeant Frog joke. Sergeant, remember your golden years. He thinks back and it's like a golden statue of himself. He's like, oh wait, you meant metaphorically.
So yeah.
So, pretty good episode. I like how it was a two-parter. That really surprised me. I was not expecting that.
Because Mabushina is so fucking important.
Because
two-parter.
Because they got the stone back. They got Reversio back, and Takemichi took it back to base, and he's like, "Hey, we did." It. You're like, "Baka, you should have stayed there to help him fight." Baka.
Yeah.
I don't know how Japanese people talk.
No, I think you nailed it.
Oh, okay.
Shall we proceed?
Raven's just over here.
I'm just gonna keep not watching this show.
Back and forth, like the huge disapproval.
Anyway, shall we proceed?
Artisan Naito.
Is this the last time I get to speak?
Yes. It's funny because the earlier time I played this wasn't even the last time in this episode.
It'll probably not be the last time we hear James. We'll probably keep him around.
But before we get to the actual episode, let's talk about the Everyday Life anime.
They were okay. Moving
oh
on.
My gosh. It was pretty funny. I liked it.
Okay, like the second episode was actually funny, but the first episode was actual garbage. Here's a tour. Here's a tour of the fucking Hiden building. Floors 1 to 19 are sales. Floors 20 to 39 are miscellaneous. Floor 40 is security. There are Mamarus fucking everywhere. Floor 42 is the calf. And what's on today's menu? A lunch. And then we spend way too much fucking time about butterbur shoots.
The writer was probably very hungry. And
it's a type of mountain vegetable in Japan that's known to increase stamina and stuff like that, but...
Like the staff got together on this, and the head of this project, okay...
How can we make anime as cheap as fucking possible?
No, we're like, okay, you guys need to make a Zero-One anime. Oh, we can do that. You got 2 weeks to do it. We can't do that.
Everyone disliked that. I swear to God, it looks like it was made in Flash animation using models ripped from the Nintendo Wii's Mii channel.
And there were 3 stock photos each.
They look like Mii's. I'm like...
It was sort of like when
yourself.
YouTubers do stories about themselves and they have a sprite in the corner.
Yeah, from Gaia Online or some shit like that.
Nah, Gaia Online actually has a better budget than this.
What's next? Fucking Neopets?
Yeah, I fucking miss Neopets.
But yeah, the whole premise of the episode is Aruto wants to see where the Huma gears get made, and Izu keeps distracting him, oh, we're gonna tour through all the floors in order. And then they get to the calf, and he gets told to eat butterbur shoots because he snacks too much. And Izu promptly goes, eat them or I won't show you where the Huma gears get made.
Oh, okay, so this takes place before episode 5 then.
Yes, they said it was right after he became president, so I assume before episode 2. And then the episode ends with really cheap synth music.
Cheap synth music of the battle theme.
Yeah.
The keyboard demo version.
Yeah, basically.
That's gonna be stuck in my head for the next week.
Especially when the soundtrack comes out.
This episode gets copyrighted.
Yeah. Because you're too good.
Yeah, because I'm just too good.
Don't worry, Gar, your singing's not actually that good.
Oh, I know.
That's the joke!
I know I'm tone deaf.
Speaking of things that are tone deaf, holy fucking shit, episode 2 just, like, ripped everything out of anything that was Fua and Yua's characters and just splattered it all over the floor.
I don't know why, when I saw Fua and Yua in this episode, all I just kept thinking was the Pro-ZD thing. Oh, they fucking...
It was just weird hearing and seeing Yua just happy.
Right? It was so jarring.
Like they're on the roller coaster and she's like, yeah! And I'm like,
what do we do with Yua?
What's happened to you?
I don't know. What's her character? We don't know.
Woman.
Woman.
So Fua decided to try a new training regimen where he thinks he's a cicada.
The king of nature.
Which I'm totally fine because I actually like cicadas.
The king of nature.
He's just holding on to a fucking stop sign pole.
I know, I'll probably be in the huge minority for this, but I actually really like the sound of cicadas. So much that I actually caught a bunch on my island in Animal Crossing and I put them all over my island. So.
And then for one shot...
They all died because the season changed.
No, they're trapped in little cages, so they're fine.
And then, during this opening scroll, fucking, it randomly zooms into Fua's face for this, fucking Shonen Jump-ass detailed close-up.
JoJo Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
That was...
Just the classic, just the classic anime face.
Yeah.
Just...
Yaranaika.
The serious face.
Yep.
It's all the food they kept eating.
Yeah, it was
the
ride.
writer was just straight up hungry.
It was ride, food, ride, food, ride, food!
Fucking best was just the hot dog. It's like, you always have to have a hot dog in the amusement park, and Fua's just like, fuck you.
I just don't know why he was listening to her at all, because at this point in the show, Fua is the boss of Ames.
Because he's trying to get her off a rise.
He doesn't need it, he just ripped open keys the whole show. Also, when they went into the fucking haunted room, there was one zombie that was totally colored like Dangerous Zombie.
I caught it out of the corner of my eye. I was like, wait, holy shit.
Dangerous Zombie.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, the zombie in the haunted house was Genmu colors.
Yep.
Even had the little...
I mean, I guess they couldn't resist.
You know what? I understand.
Yeah.
Exit Rider.
It was Dangerous Zombie.
Yua starts actually shitposting Fuo, and she's like, it's okay, the next attraction is cute. Drop Tower.
I was always terrified of those things.
I don't go on those.
Yo, weak.
And then she's like, the next ride is for babies. It's the fucking pirate ship.
Oh,
which does a full rotation.
I would never go on one of those. They look genuinely like I would be my fight or flight would kick in if I were on one of those.
See, I've been on that plenty of times.
I love when you get on at the very end and when you go really high up, you actually float out of your seat for a quick second.
I have.
You go on the jet one because that one actually flips.
That one does. Shit. I have actually, I'm not a roller coaster person. I don't go on many rides, but I have actually been on the Rage at Canada's Wonderland several times.
No, it's water parks or nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, they watch a parade and eat pizza, and that's it. But I love that the preview for the next episode about Metsubo Jinrai, they all sound so fucking enthused to be here.
Well, they're robots.
They're
robots, Ichi.
Metsubo Jinrai Gameu. Now you kind of want to watch the next one.
Yeah.
I'd love to see just Horby be like, Horby Kermit?
You want to see
someone draw Kermit in
Horby
Horby's outfit.
Hormit?
No. Someone just make a puppet Horby that has a Kermit mouth.
So Horby is a Muppet.
Yeah.
Aku Nashino Mamoi! I so see Kermit Horby now.
No, you know what? It would be Jin, because Jin's the expressive one.
Sure.
I think
singularity, yeah!
I think it'd be funny with Horby.
No, Horby would be freaking Gonzo.
Alright, so, the finale, episode 45. Before we get into that, Raven, would you like to talk about last week?
How about that new Horby form, huh?
Yeah, no, it's pretty freaking nice. That literally happened at the end of the episode, so it's like we can totally talk about that in the new episode.
Well, any thoughts on anything from previous
Last
episode?
week's episode was a good lead-in to the finale.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say about it. Not a whole lot happened other than that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of people walking places to get into the right position for this episode.
It's like they all had the same manuscript they were going to read to each other.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
so...
have like unlimited blade works going on that.
Yeah, I've been making the Gate of Babylon joke with Arc Zero the whole time, and then they just straight up unlimited blade works on me in this episode. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, good to know. Good to know they're actually just making the fake jokes.
Yeah.
So, we've come a long way on this journey, and, you know, at the start of the show I thought, hey, Naruto's made some pretty funny faces. I'm gonna do a thing where I just post a picture of a face I screenshot of him every week.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I want to see that.
We managed to do that, so I'm just, as we're talking about Zero-One, I'm just gonna post every Naruto face this week that I've collected up till the very last one that I got.
Uh-huh.
So
Start with episode 1.
So here's episode 1.
Okay.
That's episode 2.
What is episode 2?
Yeah, it's episode 2.
Huh.
You fucked it up already!
Well, whatever. The episode 1 was the first time you got scanned by someone. So
Yes.
anyways, I guess I couldn't find episode 1s.
I asked you if you wanted me to screenshot them, but you were like, "Oh no, I'm good." I looked down at my phone, and that's what I see. I see Aruto's just mad face.
So, we have Arc 1 versus Arc, what I'm referring to as Arc Horby. Even though the name of the form is Kamen Rider Horby, Arc Scorpion.
Wait. There's episode 1.
There it is, you did it.
Yeah, I had reverse order.
I also found out I'm 4 months older than Aruto. Because he hurt, 4 months older.
He's 23?
Well, no, me and him were the same age when the show started, but he was born in May, I was born in January.
Okay.
He's getting away. So yeah, Horby actually picks up the 1000 Jacker during this fight and starts using it, which was interesting. And I love that it's so obvious that he's angry at Aruto for destroying Jin, but everyone watching is like, no, that was you.
That's what I told Ichi to do, and he's like, oh no, it wouldn't work. It'd be too small to do a collage of all Naruto faces. It's the thumbnail.
I did suggest that, but it wasn't actually Aruto's fault that Jin died. Jin chose to jump in the way, but of course he's too angry to see that, which ends up being the point.
Yeah, honestly, the
subtitles work
entire
too well.
message of this was so good, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so eventually Aruto realizes what he must do. He has to let Horby work out his anger so that he can point at him and go, ha ha, you're angry.
You mean like this?
Yep.
See, they're matching up!
Did you keep a Google folder of all the photos?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I had the first 14 Naruto faces of the week on my old phone, so I had to turn on my old phone, send them to myself, and then re-download them on this phone.
Do what you gotta do. But I actually really Jin talks to Azu through the internet or whatever the fuck because he's currently being fixed up by Yua, and I like the poetic justice of Jin saying that the only one that can stop Aruto is Horby, because it's a twist on Aruto's catchphrase.
Yep.
That was a nice point. So we see Arc Scorpion's Hisatsu, or first of several, Hatred Impact, where he wraps the scorpion tail around his fucking arm. That was interesting.
No, that's cool.
Which sort of encapsulates everything that is going on. It's all about the capacity of hatred and how it warps people.
Yep.
And human gears.
Why does he look like
and
he has
that proves that they have a heart.
In that one you just posted, he looks like he has a spider on his cheek.
Well, it's a Band-Aid.
It's a Band-Aid.
I know, but from this far away and at low size. Anyway, So Hatred Impact destroys the Arc Driver, which effectively frees Aruto of whatever level of dark influence Azu has over him, as we see in this beautiful shot of the Keyblade graveyard growing life again.
Basically, we find out Horobi he's just been afraid of really expressing himself.
Yeah, like
he's like developing a heart, and he's like, "No, I'm too afraid of having a heart."
Yeah, it ends up being a case of, I know I'm angry, and I hate you for making me angry.
Like that.
That's the thing that, like, that he sort of turns it around on him, because Horobi is basically saying, like, I don't have a heart, but then
if I only had a heart,
can see it that he does, and the fact that he's feeling hatred is not some outside force. The reason he feels it is because he has a heart and loved his friend, his son.
And his heart is just a teensy weensy dirty in there.
Yeah, his heart is grieving.
Yeah.
So he sort of Uno reverse cards it and is just like, well, yeah, but because
my trap card.
The reason that you're feeling hate is because you felt love before, wasn't it?
I still think this is one of my absolute favorite ones, because I remember when I took this one, I said it looked like he was like taking a shit. He had to shit.
No.
So good.
But yeah, like Horobi actually fully realizes, wait, that's what I did to you. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, like he realizes, oh my god, Jin wouldn't have died if I didn't kill Izu, and then you went all fucking Arc 1.
You lost your family, just like I did. And I'm the one who killed them.
Yep, and
now,
that realization is what ultimately will banish the malice of Arc from people.
It turns out the true final boss was prejudice.
No, seriously, like that makes sense for the entire show. It's basically the whole question of, are Humagears able to feel, like, are they just tools, what, like, things like that. But turns out that having the capacity to feel hate and then realizing that can make you banish that and feel love is like, yeah, you're a person.
The moral is robots can feel and hatred is bad.
Well, I mean, the unfortunate thing is that nowadays a lot of people think hatred is good, so
well,
you kind of still need that reminder that, yeah, it's a corrupting, horrible force, and it so easily could be, instead of getting revenge, you could use it to, actually be a good person.
The interesting thing is, if you take a step back from this episode itself and realize the order of events, so what made Horobi stop fighting was to have Jin die and for him to fully process loss. Which means, if you think back to early game, Horobi was defeated first and then Jin was killed by Shining Assault Hopper. So what this means is, if in early game Jin had died before Horobi, we would have had this realization at the start and avoided all this garbage.
Oh my
but
gosh,
then when you really think about it...
But it probably would have taken longer. They needed all that development to go through everything together.
Yeah.
But when you really think about it, everything was all Guy's fault.
Of course.
If
no.
Guy decided not to launch Arc into fucking space...
No, it's not that he launched Arc, it's that he filled it with data on humanity's malice. And that's what chain reactioned everything.
All because his dad said, "Oh, you can't have that stupid robotic dog." Hey, remember when Naruto fucking sassed fucking Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's not 1,000%.
You heard me.
Yep.
Do you think that's why Arc had Horobi save Jin? Could be. I don't know. But, yeah, so Aruto lets himself get defeated, which not only frees him from the evil influence of Azu, but also helps him illustrate his point to Horobi that you do have a heart. See? You can feel hatred like real people.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. It's not an outside force. You only have your heart can only be corrupted because you have a heart in the first place.
Yeah.
And now show Arc who's boss and show what your heart can actually do.
Yeah, and during the flashback where he talks to his robot dad Soryo while connected to there, he has like this inspiring talk, which apparently prompts the 02 driver to print him a new 01 driver. Just so we can maintain the trope of having the base form in the final
form,
episode.
the first form in the last episode. So
but haha, one might say, it is not technically base form, it just looks identical, because what we get is the realizing Hopper progress key.
Jump towards a dream!
It has slightly different James speak, the key itself has some shiny blueness, but the suit itself is effectively identical to Rising Hopper.
Yeah, and then someone on Twitter made like a edit to a picture of Realizing Hopper, or like Rising Hopper had blue eyes
and blue hands, like 02 hands.
Yeah, and I think it would have been cool.
I fucking love that fan art, and I wish that's what it was. But no, we got to use the base form.
A jump to the sky takes off toward a dream.
That was the one. This was the one week when fucking Izu stole the Naruto face of the week.
Yeah,
because that was just so funny.
Nice white Hopper.
Yeah, and so as he goes realizing Hopper, we get the most amazing shot in the episode.
Stronger than Metal Cluster, but weaker than 02.
Yeah. So they both launch their attacks, realizing impact and extinction impact, and Arc Horribee stands in place as like a bunch of tendrils flop throughout the fucking stage that they're in, and 01, in a feat that absolutely dwarfs episode 1, just like zips back and forth, dodging everyone and getting right into Horibee's face.
Yep.
I love that shot.
I wouldn't say dwarf episode 1.
It was comparable. And then he kicks him up into the sky and absolutely eject shots him.
Yep.
It was straight up eject shot from FF10.
Alright, I thought it was Naruto.
It also kind of looked like the Naruto Uzumaki Barrage. And then he goes in for the final leg of the rider kick. Ha ha ha.
My leg!
And what's interesting is he goes for the belt to disable his powers, which is something I'm always happy to see, because he's not actually trying to kill Horibee.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
That wasn't the one I saw, but that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
So he destroys the Zetsumetsu driver, which disables Arc Horibee, but leaves Horibee alive. And we get this very nice moment of, why didn't you kill me? There's no need for that anymore.
You've realized.
Realize!
Because you realized, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
That's what realize means, oh my gosh.
It's not being like real eyes. It meant to be realized.
There you go, buddy.
You did it!
Welcome to the show.
Oh, fuck. I thought it meant, like, realize as in, like, humanize. Like, only...
That was part... I think that was part of the joke, because, like, the robots were becoming alive, so they had real eyes. That was part of it, I'm sure. So, the battle's done. We fast forward to some time later. Hiden is launching a new satellite. Let's keep Guy away from this one.
Yeah.
Yep, no.
He says he's reformed, but I still don't trust him.
They gave him dogs. He's fine.
Yeah,
yes, he's in
He has
his...
emotional support.
Yeah, someone tweeted
which
like
is
a picture of like the 1,000 dogs, and it was like Toei spent $15,000
on that 5-second shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like each of those one of those dogs is like
3,000.
yeah.
Wait, so they actually had to buy them? They didn't just go to, like, Sony and just ask them for some Ibos for a shot?
I would like to hope that the company just lent them those, but who knows?
Filming companies and photography studios usually have the ability to rent things from companies that usually just sell.
When the 5 dogs cross.
Yeah, and it's great. He's now got his people, which are Ibos.
Dogs.
Yeah, the only people that will work under him.
Dog box.
No.
Let's get a fucking dog-themed super form for him.
I'm shocked that didn't happen, but maybe we will in the Thouser movie.
Yeah.
Wait.
I love also that he's got posters of his own self in the back of his
Those look dope. I want one.
They actually look cool.
1,000 movie confirmed. Also, yeah, he rebuilds 1,000.
You watch. They'll do a 1,000 movie, and those will be the poster.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just like I was joking about 1,000 movie, but like I think there will be a 1,000 movie.
Yeah, because like this Williamson guy comes out of fucking nowhere, like probably just for the main purpose.
Who
of,
we
like,
in see at all in this episode,
yeah,
by the way.
but like he was there probably for the main purpose of just being like, oh, this suit brought Jim back, and
also, he got a new 1000 driver.
Yes. I'm so happy.
So that we know that he can now be a Kamen Rider 1000. Or be a Kamen Rider 1000? I'm sorry, I screwed that up.
It's okay.
He can be the second Kamen Rider 1000.
Kamen Rider 2000.
1000 driver.
Pokemon 2000. No, Kamen Rider 1000, the power of me.
Kamen Rider 2000. We get this kind of cute but sad shot of Aruto with the Izu key, and he clicks it, and it's like, cannot read.
Thanks for reminding me, Key.
Thanks for reminding me, Key, that I'm illiterate.
And then we get to see Yua, who's we get to see Yua, who's leading Ames, and their newest recruit is Naki. I love that.
That was fucking great. Agent Naki.
And she rocks that suit.
Where's Ikuzuchi going? Space.
He's gonna build the new satellite.
He's gonna go into space.
Yeah.
Space.
What? Like shit's gonna be. Oh shit! That means we're not gonna get an Ikuzuchi movie.
Oh.
He's gonna be stuck in space.
Maybe
we're never gonna see Ikuzuchi again.
He'll fight the meteors that threaten the satellite.
He'll be up in space.
Meanwhile, Fua becomes the goddamn Batman, in that he's now just a vigilante walking around protecting the citizenry from their own inability to drive.
Yep.
It's just like, I'm a Kamen Rider. He says while not transformed.
You know, you say that, like, moments before that, Yua literally looked at the entirety of Ames and said, "We're all Kamen Riders."
We're all Kamen Riders! I will eat you!
That's what I was thinking too.
We are all Kamen Riders, and we will fight the... What was the Dragon Knight thing? God damn it.
What?
Oh,
Kamen
Rider
Rider.
Dragon Knight, together we will fight the fight. Let's ride.
Yeah. We're all Kamen Riders. Let's fight the fight. Now let's ride.
Wow.
Another time when fucking Izu stole the art of his loot.
Hey.
Meanwhile, we cut to Horby rocking a brand new gi. He and his robot son basically keep the vigil over humanity to make sure that the Ark does not surface again.
Yes.
I'm really glad that they're not terrorists anymore.
Yeah.
They've learned, like, banished the hatred from their hearts.
And I guess they were just forgiven for all the shit they caused.
I mean,
well, I'm sure that they've what they've gone through is probably punishment enough at this point.
Just, we need to think of a good punishment, Jen. I've died twice. You know what? That's fair.
And then we cut to Azu, who promptly saunters up to a new master she is serving. I believe it was mentioned his name was S. Who
Mr.
then
S.
Just the letter?
I think so.
S.
Who then puts on a Zero-One driver with a new attachment and transforms into Kamen Rider Eden, claiming he's going to create a paradise.
Because of course he is with that name.
You smell that? I smell bullshit.
I thought you were gonna say
Sick
I
Mortal
smell
Kombat
movie.
reference, guy.
I was gonna say movie bait.
Yeah, it's
Just in time for the movie!
Exactly.
So yes, this is going to be the villain from the movie, and Azu transforms into some weird dark priestess outfit. So maybe in the movie we'll find out what Azu's true deal really was.
She's mourning.
She's mourning
Well,
the death
I'm
of
glad
our...
she has an outfit that's not the same as Izu's.
Alright, and then we cut back to Hidden Intelligence, who has built a replacement Izu.
Yep.
Yep, but of course she does not have... I think that it's very fair that this happened the way it did instead of having it be like a miracle and have her remember everything.
Okay, but hear me out.
A new
hear me out, though. I think it would have been better if they just left her dead.
Fully agree. Like, I'm gonna be really honest. This episode had me until that very last
scene. That's the part of the episode that just really kind of upset me with it. It's her death was such a big part of the show. If you can't actually bring her back like all the other Humagears, then just don't. Make her death a little more poignant.
I get it, and I think it still is, because this is not the same Izu.
It's
and
the
I
same
get that.
fucking thing.
And you know what? And I would have been at least semi-okay, because, okay, there's multiple Humagear with the same model, cool, whatever. Having a second one is about normal for this. But don't give her the same fucking name. At least acknowledge that she's a different character, technically.
You know
actually, when they had that moment, I was really expecting him to name her something else.
You know what it is? Aruto never really got over Izu's death. And
we know.
And even though he forgave Horobi for it, he never really got over it himself. So this is a security blanket thing.
Gee, it's not like there's already another Humagear secretary in the building.
Who's not his. It's
who absolutely
vice
refuses
president
to work for him. As
also that.
Earlier on in the series.
No, you know.
Right. She's like, thank you for bringing me back, Aruto. But I want to be the Ikuzuchi bot.
No.
It's also just generally heartbreaking that they have that moment where he knows that it's not actually her and she doesn't remember anything, but he's willing to have adventures with her again and rebuild what she'd lost.
You know what it is? I don't know the name of the movie, but there's this movie where this woman loses her memory and the man who loves her is willing to be with her even though she doesn't remember
50
him.
First Dates.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is.
Fucking sad ass movie.
That's exactly what this is.
Yeah. I just I just feel like putting their heads on the characters.
And you know what this does? It may not be a beautifully poetic ending that you wanted or expected, but you know what this says to me? This says to me that Aruto is human, and this goes back to what I was saying when he became Arc 1. He's not willing to let go of Izu just yet, and that makes sense to me.
Remember that this happened very recently from his perspective.
Yeah.
And remember how close he was to her.
It really fucked him up more than we ever saw.
Yeah, it still just kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Okay, and that's fine. But
the
problem
that also makes sense, though. I agree.
You have to if you really think of these as people and not just characters.
Characters are people.
Aruto didn't do it to satisfy anyone else. He didn't do it to satisfy viewers like us. He did it for himself. And that makes him human. And I actually appreciate that.
Yeah, me too. It's good that we have opposite sides.
To be human is to accept what happened.
But not immediately, necessarily. Maybe he'll change his mind later.
If he really thought was right, he wouldn't have brought her back. But keep the dream alive.
And yeah, like Orb is saying, let's remember that he's lost 2 dads also, so clearly he has issues with loss.
But I thought the whole point of him taking off the arc driver was him finally accepting the death of Izu.
No, the point of losing the arc driver was to prove to Horobi that he has a heart. He was letting Horobi disable him so that he wouldn't be able to fight him. So that
he was getting rid of his hatred, even if it would hurt him in the short run.
He was discarding his hatred for Horobi. That doesn't mean he's forgotten about Izu or passed on or moved on from her.
But that could also be shown as he is willing to accept that Izu is gone.
But he never did. Not once. Not once that they showed us. He was discarding Arc 1 because he knew it wasn't who he really was. He didn't want the hatred anymore.
Yeah.
That's what that was about.
Anyways, I'm sorry for both of you that ruined your experience of this episode.
Because it was going really good.
I agree that it's not the ending I expected. Maybe not even the ending I wanted. But it makes sense.
And also, I'm also semi-pissed off about it because you just know this is leading to a moment in the movie where she does get her memories back somehow.
Yeah,
they're know they're gonna do it.
I won't say that's impossible.
As a backup of her memories or some shit.
I fully expected them to pull out a backup of her memories from the Zero-Two
driver.
I
thought that was how it was going to end,
because
I'm actually think it's very poignant that that's not how it ended.
Yeah, what she said.
Yeah.
It's that I was fully expecting the entire time that, because her memories were such a big part of making the Zero-Two driver and key. Maybe the backup of her memories is just in the fucking key.
I mean, like, the 02 key came out of her, like, ear slot.
I just thought they were just going to take Azu and
overwrite her?
program her or something. That's what I thought they were going to do. That's what I thought her whole purpose of being there was.
Honestly, that's what I was thinking too, but then they went in a totally different direction.
Yeah. That still requires a backup of Izu's memories. But I get why you say that.
Here's the final Aruto Face of the Week. So
wait, we already went through all of them?
Yes. So,
damn.
There we go. Aruto looking towards the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aruto man towards the future.
Start from 0 and take one step.
That would make him Aruto the Great then.
I made an Ultraman joke. Are you proud of me?
No, because you didn't watch the show.
Okay.
That's a bit rude.
But I actually thought it was a little bit adorable when it's like, all right, time to teach you from scratch, and they just log into the satellite and start doing jokes together. It's like, oh, they're starting from 0-1.
But I just think that that's really sweet that he knows that she can't be brought back, but he's willing to start again and rebuild what he had.
Yeah, just like his company.
Actually, that's true.
All right, so that concludes our episode discussion, unless anyone has any final points on the episode specifically.
I think I would have been more satisfied with seeing blueprints of, like, a new Izu instead of just getting a new Izu.
Izu 2.
To at least tease that there is a possibility to bring her back.
I did kind of expect what I expected, aside from the whole backup coming out of the 02 driver, is kind of what you're saying, where the episode ends with him like, all right, we're going to build a new one, a better one, because it would have been totally on brand with Kamen Rider, because Exit ended with them like, oh, we gotta find a way to bring back all the game over humans, and O's ended with, oh, we gotta find a way to revive Ank's shattered metal.
Mach, oh, we need to find a way to bring Chase back.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
A lot of Rider series end that way, so that was kind of what I was expecting.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, so were you guys expecting it to be more of a Weibo versus Weebet situation?
I don't know what that means. Jinx?
Oh, you know the movie Flubber?
Yes.
I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah.
It's been a long time since I...
Spoilers for the movie Flubber!
Oh, like, are you talking about where, like, he has, like, his fiancé, but then, like, his robot assistant is also in love with him?
Yeah, but okay, so that robot assistant is named Weibo.
Yes.
And, again, spoilers for the movie Flubber, she sacrifices herself and dies. But there is no backup of her, except she made a backup of herself and added some more things to it. And ultimately, at the end, we get Weebet, who is like Weibo 2.0, but also isn't her. It's clearly a different AI, just made similarly. So do you think that would have been more interesting if, like, instead of Izu, we had, like, another secretary who was sort of like Izu, but not quite?
Instead of Izu or there, we have Were.
I actually like what they did, like what happened more than that, but that was something I was sort of thinking might happen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry for that, having to explain the 1990s.
That's fine.
Clever film.
This is a show where we share our opinions and comparisons, so say what you gotta say.
A show where we talk about Flubber.
Okay, anyone else closing thoughts on the finale?
I mean, I was complaining earlier, like when we were watching the episode, I'm like, this isn't really a type of episode that like rocked my socks off as like Toei was insinuating that it was going to be.
To clarify, they didn't say that it was going to be a mind-blowing, surprising finale.
They said it was going to be different from any other Rider show.
Yeah,
and I think what they meant was that nobody died.
No, it wasn't that. They teased the movie. That's the different part.
I doubt it.
I think it's also
they
kill Horby.
They've done that plenty.
It's the fact that at the end of the day, the final episode wasn't about the major villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't have some major... We had a climactic fight, but it wasn't with some ultimate evil that they've been building up to the whole show. It was just the fallout after the fact.
The real villain was prejudice.
The villain was hatred, which I think is that's why Arc is my favorite Kamen Rider villain ever, because it's something that is genuinely scary.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first?
All right. So, as per our Castranger tradition, when we talk about the finale of a series, instead of a feature topic, even though we did have the anime feature topic, we like to discuss the series as a whole, as sort of a retrospective, and talk about what we liked and disliked from the entire show.
I guess I'll go first. So I'm kind of short and sweet about it, honestly. Zero-One for me overall, it was good, but just something about it for me just doesn't make me just go, wow, this is a really great show. Like, just something about it just felt off, and I think it's just because like it didn't have like a consistent plot for me, at least, because like, you know, you had the whole competition arc thing, which like I get now why people didn't like it and stuff, and I was just like, oh, I thought it was fun, and yeah, but I don't know, just something about it I just wasn't like, I'm not leaving this show like really wowed, so at least for me personally. But like the designs in the show are really fucking good, especially Metal Cluster Hopper, which is like the best suit in the series for me personally, because it was just so fucking pretty. Like the whole Progrise Key gimmick, that's cool, but like, I don't know, I want something like really different now, because it just felt like gadgets. Like hell, the fucking ride books feel like gadgets, but they're just books instead of video games.
So what is it specifically that you want?
Something with a bit more unique style, and like,
or maybe it just like a rider that doesn't have a gimmick to transform with. Like he just like, it kind of like,
I thought the Progrise keys were full of style. They were basically like fucking security keys.
I thought they were
do you have a Progrise key right beside you?
No.
Is there one right there on the table there?
Just the Bowser one.
Pass me it.
Okay, well, don't activate it because you won't be able to turn it off.
Yeah, no. Here's a Progrise key in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
You press a button.
Yeah.
It says a thing, and you can flip it open.
Yeah.
That's every single one of them.
Yeah.
In fact, half the gimmicks do less than that. Because cards, medals...
Yeah, and then you had like something like the shift cards, which I really enjoyed, because like they're all like...
Unique different cards.
Unique different kinds, and they're
all...
It
was also like they express it because like, hey, it's motorcycles.
Yeah.
And like the monsters had like monster style.
Like each rider had like a different... Like, style. Mock and drive, like, Mock used bikes, Drive used cars, and, like, they were different, but, like, every rider in the show, just, Progrise key, Progrise key, Progrise key!
Well, Drive is a special case, because you're using cars.
Yeah.
So, of course, there's going to be a variety in the gimmicks.
No, of course.
But the theme of Zero-One, as I've stated before, is security.
Yeah!
So what makes more sense for the gimmicks to be than security cards?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe do more of the animal motif.
But we've had plenty of animal motifs.
Yeah, but, like, if you're going to do an animal motif, go all out. It's like,
animals weren't the focus, though.
Yeah, the whole point was the Progrise keys were, like, animals, but the other half of it, what was the name for the other ones?
Zetsumarais
keys?
Yeah, the Zetsumarais keys were all extinct animals. It was just that little dichotomy.
Yeah, the point wasn't that they were animals.
Extinction.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of characters, I thought it was a cool cast. Like Aruto, I hate myself for doing this, but I remember that when we first saw the trailer for the show, when I heard Aruto's voice, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking hate this guy because I don't want to hear that fucking voice for like a whole year." And
That's so mean.
Yeah, and yeah. But afterwards, I've seen Aruto grow throughout this show, and honestly, he ended up being a really fun character and very friendly, and he was very, stuck to his ideals and, wanted to just make people happy. And
until he lost, like, the closest person that he had.
Yeah, I mean,
he had to fight that himself.
That still bothers me, that drove him so much to, like...
I think... What would have made it a bit more entertaining, or a bit more of a shocker?
Shocker.
if Izu was like his last connection with his grandfather.
Yeah.
Or like something related to his family.
Or like
and like if she blows up, then he considers that a lot.
Wasn't like Izu built by Koronosuke or something?
Yes.
Yeah, but she wasn't up. Yeah, but it was also just the fact of she's his only assistant, and like her in quote brother
this
was
is what I wouldn't have done.
Koronosuke's.
I wouldn't have had Az be a completely separate person. I would have had that Arc Zero kidnapped Izu, turned her into Az, and made her fight against Aruto, and like, you know, Aruto was like, no, and like has no choice but to destroy her, and it just fucking kills him because he has no choice but to do it.
I would have liked that.
That would have been awesome.
You know what? I'd be interested to see that version.
So much more would have been at stake, and just like that would have drove him to become Arc 1 because he had to destroy the person he cared about.
No, but the reason they couldn't that wouldn't work is he wouldn't necessarily have as much hatred pointed at anyone, because if he's the one who has to kill her, he's feeling more guilty about himself.
Yeah, well, and you know what? That's fine.
This worked because he was able to point all of his hatred at Horobi.
Yeah. Yeah, but I thought Aruto was an enjoyable protagonist. So I didn't hate him. I mean, like his Aruto Janito's kind of got a little annoying after a while, and also just like he was all about being a comedian, and he just kind of, once he became president, he was just like, okay, I'm president now, whatever. Fua, I enjoyed, like, I honestly feel like he ended up being, like, the real GOAT of the show, because just, like, watching him grow, and, like, from hating human gears, and end up, like, fighting alongside with them and stuff, and fighting for them, and, like, it was just really cool, and...
What does GOAT mean again?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah, I would have to go with that. Like, yeah, like I'm just going to quickly bounce off of your idea, that way I'm not just retreading water.
No.
Fua, I would say, is probably the most fully developed character in the show.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And like the whole thing about him being like
especially halfway through the show, he questions like, what do I do after Metsubo Jinrai goes down?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know.
Yeah, and I like that he eventually just decided to become like just the city's Kamen Rider. He just like goes around, protects the peace.
And even though he doesn't have the transformation device or any of the powers, it's what was inside of him that made him a rider.
Although I'd like to remind everyone that there totally was a shot riser in the battlefield that Fua totally could have just picked up, but didn't.
Well, no, it's because the memory chip.
He can't use it anymore.
Even if
it's not that his shot riser was broken; it's he doesn't have the chip working in his head in order to use it.
Guy put it there; he could have fixed it.
He could have fixed it.
You really think Fua's going to let that guy anywhere near his head again?
That's not my decision.
He'll probably lose his memories again.
Get Yua to do it then. She's skilled.
Yua, honestly, I wish she had a lot more to do. She deserved it. She deserved to be way more. I agree with Ichi that she should have just ended up using the Fighting Jackal key than the Shot Riser, and should have been like Valkyrie fighting Jackal. That would have been fucking dope.
Like they could have just used the same Jackal suit, just put on the Shot Riser.
Yeah, like whatever.
I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, I wouldn't have cared either. But like I liked how, just because like at one point, like, you know, she stopped being Valkyrie for a bit, and like I remember Tom was being upset about that, and I said, "Don't worry, it's not about her right now. She's gonna get her thing." And then she punched fucking guy in the face, and that was when she fucking shut herself away from Zaya.
And when she stopped being in the show all that much.
I realized she definitely got the dirt, what's the word I'm looking for?
She was kind of thrown under the bus.
Yeah,
like,
but
for being
some
the
of the
first
early
female,
fights, though, hers were the coolest.
Yeah.
Like, even her date, like, even while watching the show, like, this entire week, she has always gotten the short end of the stick. Even her debut episode didn't really want to, like, her debut episode as a rider didn't really want to focus on her. So it's like, or it's like Lightning Hornet. It's not even her focus episode. It's a Jin focus episode.
Yep.
And it's like everything she
Lightning
does.
Hornet was amazing, though. I think it's my favorite show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit biased, though, just because I really like things related to lightning.
Izu, I liked her. It was cute seeing her kind of grow into being like really close to Aruto, and like her copying everything Aruto did. That was adorable. So, but like I knew her death, like her being fucking killed off was like coming a mile away. So like I saw it happen, and I wasn't like, but I was like, oh shit, wow, okay.
The way she went, though, I was a bit surprised.
And I knew she was gonna come back. I knew they were gonna rebuild her, so that's why like it doesn't like bother me as much as it does you two, because I just like I knew it was gonna fucking happen. I knew they were going to do it. They were going to do it.
Like I was really expecting. I'm like, wow, they didn't bring her back. You know what? Maybe Kamen Rider has matured a bit and finally accepts the concept of death. I brought her a rebuilder.
We made a new one.
What's your name? Skywalker.
Fucking pretty much.
Metsubo.net. Honestly, I kind of wish just all four of them were there from the very beginning. Like, I feel like Horby should have been stories like, my predecessor, my other members will fucking avenge me. And that's when you introduce Naki and Raiden.
I actually thought it was interesting, the whole mystery of like, who are the other two members? And then we gradually reveal who they are.
Yeah, but Ikazuchi, I'm going to be brutally honest here, Ikazuchi felt like a fucking afterthought.
Well, that's why I feel like Ansatsu should have just been, like, the fourth member of Metsubo.net. I didn't want this Raiden sleeper agent bullshit. Like, that was that felt like it came out of fucking nowhere.
Ikazuchi was a one-note thing. He was there to activate the ARC's 3D printer, and then he kind of just took a backseat. And yeah,
no, I feel like Ansatsu should have been Ikazuchi the whole fucking show. He deserved it. Like, he was best dodo boy. And
it's also kind of weird that they.
You know what? I actually completely forgot about him. I feel really bad.
Yeah. Naki, she was also interesting. I feel like she should have been introduced more earlier in the series, because, like, she had a lot going on for it, and
we had to wait for Fua's development.
Yeah, Vice President didn't give a fucking shit, because, like, they made it seem like he was going to be, like, pulling the strings behind everything.
Well, some kind of villain, yeah.
Yeah, but no, he had one episode where he tried to fucking sabotage him, and whatever.
He and the other two felt freaking useless. To the point where they didn't even show up for several episodes.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back, and it's like, to be really honest, I don't think this writer knows how to make comic relief.
The Human Gears, I liked, honestly, pretty much all of them. I thought all of them were really fun. They were very unique each time. Several to name off, probably Mamoru I really liked, Smile I really loved, Bingo I really liked.
Yeah, I miss when it was Human Gear of the Week, but I understand how that couldn't.
Yeah, and like it made you feel for these guys, because like that's why I love the whole purpose of the show was that just like they were trying to make these Human Gears feel like people, and like you felt like. So, like me and Ichi loved Ansatsu. When he died, we were upset, because we were like, fuck, this is one of, like, the best characters in the show.
I didn't realize they kidnapped an entire team.
Yeah, they kidnapped 5 fucking dudes who looked exactly the same to keep fucking bringing this dude back.
And one of them just became perma evil.
Yeah. Raven, can you pass me my belt, please, there? Like the 1,000 right now, please. Thank you. So, now, last but not least, Horby, he was cool, I just fucking hate him. Fucking constantly saying "Will the Ark." That was fucking.
As the Ark
was. Fucking shot every time he said that.
Yeah,
no.
Shot it.
Jin, I liked that he was adorable, being a little child that we wanted to protect, and then he grew up into a little rebellious teenager, and then he grew up into a man because
who still calls his dad bot daddy.
Yeah, it was really cute. He had a gun. He fucking shot him in the head. That was the best thing ever.
No.
Yeah, he's adorable. He had a gun.
No, my favorite part with him
he was designed to be a dad.
Was in like episode 6 when they're at like the voice acting thing, and like he shows up with the gun, just shoots it up in the air, and I'm like, I know that was trying to be menacing, but I just kept giggling at it.
Straight up terrorism right on screen.
Hey.
But like with Horby was interesting because I feel like they should have made him more emotional like halfway through the show, and they should have made it that eventually he realized that Ark wasn't really doing what he wanted, and then he decided, no, I need to be Ark. And he decided to take the Ark Zero power set for himself.
I mean, he kind of did decide that he was separating himself from the Ark.
Yeah, but I just feel like he should have been more like main villain sooner, because like I feel like that's what they were trying to do.
I think you could argue he was the main villain for about 80% of the show.
I mean, man got fucking undefeated. He was suit acted by Seiji Takaiwa. He never lost.
Yeah.
Ever. It was great.
Except for that one time.
Yeah.
Except for that one time when he died.
So now, finally, my final thoughts on Amatsu Gai, Kamen Rider Thouser. I will say I hyped into him a bit too much, and I tried defending him as much as I could, but, like, obviously, yes, he was... Huh?
I do want to say, when I got to the episode featuring his backstory and the dog, it choked me up a bit.
Yeah, like, I get it. These two were kind of on my fucking ass about being like, no, he's not fucking redeemed after all this. And what I was trying to say was, I didn't say he was being fully redeemed. I said he was on his way to being redeemed.
You know what?
I really feel like they should have foreshadowed that a little bit more earlier, but I know we talked about that in the episode.
Tell you what, if the Thouser movie is about him completely redeeming himself, I will call him a good character.
No. I'm starting to notice a trend in the... I'm starting to notice a trend in the show.
Mm.
Each character, like especially each rider, they all go through the same thing. With Aruto being the last one.
Yeah.
They all have gone to their lowest point.
Yeah. That's true, actually. Yeah.
They all reached rock bottom, and they're all trying to dig their way out.
Mm.
Dig up, stupid. I've got it. The Thouser movie can be about him doing 1,000 good deeds.
There you go. Oh.
That actually kind of makes sense in a weird way.
Yeah, my name is
My name is Guy.
My name is Thouser. But like in terms of like Thouser for like a power set and a rider, I thought he was fucking dope, super awesome.
I'm genuinely surprised he didn't get any other forms.
I'm actually sad he didn't get another form. I think that's why I'm kind of hoping Thouser movie gets
2,000.
10,000.
10,000.
No.
100,000.
You know what it'll be? His belt will get malfunction. He'll use a Zero-One driver, and they'll shove in like
fucking probably
a Thouser progress key that allows him to get a new form.
And I'm disappointed with Toei being with Thouser being like, oh, everyone hates him. Okay, then we'll just shit on him because people hate him. No, I feel like that's really disappointing and lazy of them, and they should have corrected their mistakes and maybe tried to improve on him to make him a likable character.
Apparently, I think it was Tom Constantine who posted this. Apparently, the reason Guy was so shit on in the last third of the show was, in fact, in response to the poor reception of the tournament arc.
Yeah, and that's why he got beaten by fucking every single rider.
Good.
But Lane, think of it this way: with him getting beaten up by everyone, that led to his lowest point. That made him mentally realize, oh,
I'm a dick.
No, it's like, what have I actually become? I was ready to sell weapons to people.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was ready to make it so every single civilian could become a fucking Kamen Rider and fucking kill people.
So for me personally,
what the fuck did I become?
So for me personally, I'll still say the Amatsu Gai Kamen Rider Thouser is my favorite character in the show. Still, just for reasons of being like. He was cool. I thought he had a strong presence when he first showed up, and like, yes, he was a dick, but like, that's the point of these characters. Like, if you hate him,
what I just realized, they never explained how he was like immortal.
They never explained the whole eternally 24th thing.
Okay, you know what?
I thought that was gonna be a big plot point, and that it was never explained.
The answer to that question is he's rich and plastic surgery.
Also
really good moisturizer,
and also if you take really good care of yourself, you can age pretty well. Like, look at Ralph Macchio. The man's 58 years old. He does not look 58 years old.
He looks like
well, I mean, like, Will Smith and Keanu Reeves also look like they have an age.
Exactly.
We can just add him to the list of Japanese vampires.
Yeah. So, overall, in the end, for me, like, Kamen Rider Zero-One,
that's a movie.
I liked it, but I wouldn't say I loved it as much as maybe other people did. So that's just me. Like, still, Drive for me is the best Rider series ever made. So, I'm looking forward to Saber. I'll see what it's all about. I'm not big on the theme and the gimmicks of it, so that's why I'm like really gonna stay away from the toy line as much as fucking possible. So I'm so glad nothing's interested me at all.
We'll
So
see.
Say that before every show lately.
Well,
hey, how many swords do you see in my collection, Raven? Not really any. I like guns.
Because the show's not out yet.
I'm waiting for Kamen Rider Gun to show up.
Yeah.
There'll be
Kamen Rider gun.
like fucking. They'll just one of the characters will just randomly have their sword also be a gun, and you'll be. all
Wait a
over
minute,
that
we
shit.
just had 2 Kamen Riders who transform with guns.
Yeah, different.
I mean, yeah, I sold my Shot Riser to David, but now I actually kind of miss my Shot Riser.
You sold your Kamen Rider gun?
Everything, all my 1,000 drivers, the only thing I have left of my collection because I got tired of it. I just didn't care for having it anymore. So,
all right.
anyways, yeah. So for me, good.
That was Lane's thoughts on Zero-One.
I had to go pee.
Guarded, since you've been weaving in and out of Lane's discussion, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
yeah, I guess I'll speak my own thoughts on Kamen Rider Zero-One. Now, my opinion is definitely a different experience than everyone's here.
We watched it they watched it weekly. I binged the first half of the show in like a week and then watched it weekly.
Yeah, so like I didn't get that experience. I
You powered
watched,
through the whole show in a week.
Yeah, I watched the first 10 episodes, kind of dropped out, and then I marathoned the entire thing so I could actually grasp it as a whole instead of as like separate.
Tell us what you grasped.
Well, the biggest thing that I have to say is, much like with the finale, it's hit and miss. There's some really good elements in the show, like some of the directing, the cinematography, some of the acting, even the music, I will say. Of course, designs. You can never go wrong with Kamen Rider and designs somehow. Like, because I feel like that's just a repeating thing every year. Just, oh, the designs were good, the designs did that, and all that. It's like, I don't really talk about designs that much.
Trinity's still shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say designs aren't always good.
There's good and
Yeah.
bad.
But out of like the 4 separate chapters that Zero-One took, like the first chapter being 1 to 16, the bio arc, the first 6 or 5 episodes of Heat Manufacturing, then the final arc. The arc.
Stop it!
So like, it had a good start. Like the first 16 episodes, it's like, yeah, you know what, this is a pretty good mini. If this was just a mini series, yeah, it'd be fine. Tournament arc happened, and I was like, okay, I don't understand why everyone's hating on it. It's because everyone watched it week to week and they were just sick of it. That was probably
I
it.
actually liked the tournament arc.
Like, I kind of forgot the tournament. Like, I wouldn't even call it a tournament.
The thing is, it was so largely inconsequential to what else was going on, and also Guy was doing really terrible shit and not getting anything for it. You know what I mean?
So every
He just slammed
politician
his Zetsuma Riser on Bingo in front of Aruto, and nothing came as a result of that.
So like any politician.
Yes.
Yeah, he was literally pulling so much shit right out in the open, and it wasn't negatively impacting him in any way, shape, or form.
That's menace. Like, to me, I see that as menacing. You can't do anything. Even when we have information of, oh shit, he's the one behind everything, you can't.
No one had evidence.
Exactly.
Except when we did, when Shesta pulled up 1,800 counts of Guy's criminal activity.
And then the fucking idiots decided to show them the only copy of the files they had, and he proceeded to delete them like any fucking logical criminal.
And snap the USB
Yeah.
I would like to imagine they kept a backup of that.
They didn't!
Because
that's what they said afterwards!
They're the comic relief. They didn't think that far ahead. So anyways,
Idiots.
I was at least like, so that tournament arc, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. Then the show kind of, in a strange way, it felt like it took a complete left turn. With like, all right, now we're gonna focus on Arc being the main villain. I'm like, oh, okay. It was kind of like it felt like a good transition, but it also felt like an odd transition because You know what? That's a good way to.
You want to know what,
it. Just felt weird.
And none of us really considered it terribly weird when it was happening week to week because we all knew why. That's when COVID happened.
Yeah, so like I can't really blame a lot of the final arc of the show because of what's been happening in the world. This show was definitely affected
2020
by the pandemic.
Yeah. So it's like that arc where you felt like that was a weird transition. That's where their production schedule.
Yeah, that's why they had to stop for.
That's when they had to start taking precautions because of it too, and the way they filmed had to change at that point. So things went a little differently than planned in production, but they made the best of it they could.
Like
it doesn't feel like anything got changed. So like. If you didn't know...
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you didn't know it was happening, you probably miss it because they made do with it, but there are little things they did that you just... Oh, I understand.
Like, Ark himself felt a little... To be kind of, unfortunately, hurtful, weak. I think, like, if you're trying to build up this whole, like, in a sense of mythological.
He was actually the scariest villain ever for me.
Like, notice the arc. Like, it should be more intimidating. He should, if anything, he should be more robotic.
I thought Arc Zero was plenty intimidating.
Yeah, I
thought he was terrifying.
Because the rest of us literally thought he was presented absolutely terrifying.
The only thing that wasn't terrifying about him was the sneakers.
Yeah, the camera shots whenever he was walking into the fucking scene.
That weird,
like that Japanese
noise that the letters make as they
shots
around
they did of him. That was fucking freaky.
I don't know, maybe it's because
and the fucking Hisatsu, like he just like chimes off all the negative emotions.
I don't know, maybe it's because he kind of threw me off because he had to possess people. I'm like, well, that
made him a fucking parasite, and that adds another layer of terror to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
he could just take over any of the fucking human gears out there.
Yeah, there's plenty of robot bodies out there, but he made a point that he had to take over someone. Anyway, continue.
Naruto, I enjoyed as a character, but like when Lane was talking, Fu is my absolute favorite character in the show. Simply because of just how different he is, or how different he was with Naruto. Where Naruto's like, oh, all human gears should have equal meaning and all that. Where he's like, I want to destroy every single one of them, and then him going through the realization of my entire life has been a lie because it was
not his entire life. He just doesn't remember his entire life prior to a couple of years.
So like when I found out the whole like being chased by human gears in the middle school thing was just a straight up lie, then he really went through a character like he went through a major character development of like, who am I? What am I? And like it was kind of sweet to see that like he saw his family. Like, they're just doing the little thing. And, like, he doesn't go over to be like, hey, hey, mom, hey, dad, how you doing? He's just like, they're okay.
Yep.
That's all I need to know.
That was touching.
And so for him to really understand what it meant to be a Kamen Rider, so by the end of the show, going around and be like, oh, I am a hero of justice, I am a Kamen Rider, it felt touching. Like, it felt like he went through a full character.
Honestly, the little epilogues for everyone were really good.
Yua, short end of the stick. I feel, if anything, I feel sorry for the actress.
Yeah.
She should have...
Apparently, the actress herself has stated that she was confused during the filming because she really had no idea what they were doing with her character.
Because, if anything, during the tournament arc, when Guy and Bowser were doing their thing, when Guy and Naruto were doing their thing, Fua and Yua should have been doing their own subplot, trying to figure out the deeper thing of what's happening with these raid riders and why human gears are being corrupted.
Except Yua was working with Bowser at that point and being his assistant.
But how much of a twist would have that been? Where Fua comes in...
She was a triple agent.
Yeah, like Fua comes in and he tells Yua, and Yua's just holding her shot riser, be like, you finally figured it out.
now you have to die.
She just spins around in the chair.
Yeah, it's...
Because, like, the thing is, like, apparently this was unclear to some people, but Yua, at the start of the show, was an employee of Zaya, who was then supplanted into the government agency Ames by Guy, even though she was truly working for Zaya the whole time.
But that's the point. Everybody knew she was working for Zaya at the time.
No, I know, but I've been having some discussions on people on Facebook about the show, and apparently some people didn't really clue in on, like, the whole Zaya, Ames, where was Yua, the whole thing.
Yeah, I wasn't actually sure if she joined Guy halfway through or was always working for him.
No, she worked for Zaya in the first place.
I remember the exact scene. Yua said to Aruto, I work for Zaya, I was just put into Ames to spy on them.
Ames
I mean, that's what I thought, but like I started to wonder if I'd heard that right or if I saw that right.
Because Ames was being funded and having all of their tech supplied by Zaya, so Zaya sent them a representative to work with them as the person who basically controls and teaches them to use the tech.
Yeah, but at the start, Ames was actually a government agency, and then Zaya just straight up acquired Ames.
Because they were the ones funding all of its actions anyway.
So in a sense, it's kind of like how Disney hires Kevin Feige to run Marvel Studios.
Kinda.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
It's really kind of sad that most of Yua's quote-unquote development had nothing to do with her, but just who she works for.
And, like, the whole thing
that's actually a good point.
And, like, her being referred to as a tool, and she's like, I'm not a tool. I'm like, that's what a tool says.
That sounds like something a tool would say.
And it's like she's like, consider this my resignation.
Punch.
And then it's like, she does nothing for the rest of the show. I'm like, did you have...
She goes to work with Jin.
Like, even Fua was getting furious with her, asking her, what do you want? Like, what is your... And, like...
Why would I know? The writers don't...
Oh my god, it's that scene from The Notebook where it's just like Ryan Gosling up to...
What do you want?
What do you want? No, what do you want?
Yeah. Freaking talking to the...
I don't know!
person to live in there.
Anyway.
I need my phone to read that.
The world's not kind enough to allow one person to live on their own. I need roommates!
Like, I felt like she needed a better character, or at least more time to actually flesh out her character. Maybe it should have been the whole double secret agent thing. Like, where it was revealed and all that, or something like that, who knows. Quickly go over Izu. A lot of people are going to hate me for this. I did not like her.
Okay. Why exactly?
She felt boring.
She's a robot.
It's just like...
She's a robot.
Like it was literally the same running gag every episode.
Yeah.
Aruto says a joke. She explains the joke.
It wasn't always
I don't know. I liked that. That was cute.
Because Gar, think about it. She's a robot. She doesn't have a grasp on like human behavior and like jokes and stuff. So she just keeps trying to do it because it's in her programming. So Aruto's throughout the show is trying to teach her to be more than what she is. More than
and
just
that
a secretary.
It changes and develops over time, and that she starts to actually join in on the jokes instead was a pretty big deal.
She was.
And
like
then we had that scene where she dashed into the shot and screeched to a halt.
Yeah, and
shit like that.
Yeah. So it was her just trying. Oh, I'm going to try to be human. So she was doing what she thought was best. Hey, if she didn't resonate with you, dude.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Like that was pretty much it. It's just like I saw her more as just, hey, Naruto's assistant. Okay.
So what you're saying is you saw her as a tool.
I saw her as potential.
Wow.
The three trio, fucking hated them. They did nothing to surpass the show, and I think it's kind of awful when you realize the vice president's been there the longest of all of them. So there should have been at least something of like Aruto trying to figure out like, how do I do this stuff, or like what would my grandfather do with this type of stuff?
You know what? They really did seem to throw out the whole legacy of the company thing after like the first few episodes.
Yeah.
Like
I thought that was going to be a way bigger part of it with him trying to like live up to his grandfather.
They didn't really show a lot of him trying to run the company. He ended up just being like a field salesman. Because like he would always bring the human gear and deal with problems out in the field instead of managing the company.
He had to learn how the company actually runs out in the field before he has any idea how to manage it.
So
I know, but then we never got that part of it after.
So like that's where
aside from any time there was a problem, you have to step up and answer the public.
So like that's why I think the
CEO.
Yeah, that's why I think the vice president should have done something more. Be like, all right, I was gonna hate you. Like I was just gonna hate on you, but you know what? I'm gonna help you out with this one thing here, or I'm gonna help you out with this thing over here. Like
but no, if he fucks up, the vice president can take over.
Yeah, but maybe he should have had like a turn, like at least like a turn of
change of heart.
Yeah, like a change of heart.
Which he kind of did near the end.
Yeah, he did.
Of no worries,
but it was already a little late for that shit. At that point.
Then lastly, Metsubo Jinrai.
There's a lot of characters in this show to be going through them one at a time.
yeah, pretty much. So I'm just trying to keep it short and simple. As a whole, they were okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. They were just okay.
They were there.
They were there.
They were a thing.
They Metsu, they bowed, they Jinride, and they .net.
Any other closing thoughts before we go? Let Emily have her turn.
It's better than X8.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Ooh, interesting.
So I wanted to hear from you specifically. I was like, is it better than X8?
Is it better than X8? Yes. Does it still have Kamen Rider flaws? Yes.
Yeah.
Could it have been better? Absolutely. Favorite episode? It's still episode 1. Best cinematography, best writing, best directing, best acting, best visual effects.
I'll disagree with you on that one, but I'll get to that in a bit.
All right.
Emily.
I think that you guys have probably covered most of everything.
That's fine. You can even if you repeat something, just like keep it brief, but you can say what you want to say.
But you're supposed to go character by character, right?
Yeah, just a little blurb on each one if you want.
Okay, Aruto is actually my favorite main rider so far that I've seen. He's by far my favorite, the most main character of any of the ones I've seen. And it's probably the first time I can think of where the main rider was my favorite rider in the show. I agree that Yuo is kind of put under the bus, but her forms, especially Hornet, were just really cool.
All 2.5.
I mean, that was cool enough that I put it on the screen to show my mom. So, though she had no idea what the heck was going on, it was just like, I have to show you this scene. So I guess that means it was cool, right?
Sure.
I liked the dynamic between her and Fua, and it was kind of sad when they became less of a duo later on. Thouser was evil but good, like at the same time. Sometimes I couldn't really know what his endgame goal was, but it was cool having it be like a corporate showdown between the two of them. And then when he took over, it felt sort of weird. But I think my favorite thing about... and Metsubo Jinrai I didn't really have much opinion on in general. They're just... I like how things went with them and that they learned, but it was hard. It's difficult to sympathize with terrorists.
That's a fair point.
I don't negotiate with terrorists.
No, but like I did sympathize with them, but like at the same time I was just thinking like, please don't stop being a terrorist group now. It would be good. And they finally did, so that was good. This also had my favorite villain of any Kamen Rider we've seen so far. Like, in terms of menace and actual threat, I think my favorite, like, overall would still be Evolt, just because he's Evolt, but, like, my favorite as a threat, the fact that it was the personification of hatred was probably, it's the supervillain that exists in our world. So...
The threatening part was that he could exist within anyone.
Well, that's the idea, because that's what happens.
Gee, if only they actually did more of that.
Movie.
But
I
The
have
themes
to agree.
of-
Evolt more is intimidating because he killed 3 people in like 5 minutes.
Oh, Evolve is fantastic.
Evolt was intimidating, but not scary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
100%.
Evolt, yes, Evolt was intimidating, but he felt like a supervillain. Like
yeah.
he felt like a character that you would enjoy watching do evil stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Evolt
Whereas
had,
with,
Evolt
like
had
with Evolt,
personality.
you like almost were sort of like, oh man, look at him go. I wonder what's gonna happen next. With Arc, like I genuinely felt unsettled and scared. Like I felt like my stomach churned when he was on screen, and I was shocked by how scared I was by him.
That's fair.
And it was the first time that's ever happened watching any of these, so I was like, whoa, that's a big deal. Sorry if that sounds dumb.
No, that's fine. Anyone else you want to talk about?
Just the entire theme of the show of going towards the future of androids and humans working together, and them having hearts and being sentient and being allowed to dream. And
You guys said supervillain with Evolt. That's the first face that I thought of.
Yeah, no, that's the face he'd make.
That's the perfect face to describe Evolt.
And
You just do the thing I wanted you to.
yeah, like just
Like-
and I also really liked that the main characters were like, well, not main characters, but main character was the head of a company, and that was great. Like it wasn't like, oh, let's like rebel against the corporate. It's like, no, we're the good guys.
We are the corporation this time.
Like, and that's how it is. So I'm
Like, what
really
if-
glad that that's what they had, because that's basically like the truth.
It's like, what if Takumi was CEO of Smart Brain?
And the ultimate villain is not like something like that. It's hatred, which is the ultimate villain. So I think that, if not my favorite writer that I've watched so far, it is probably the most poignant writer I've watched so far. I think there were other ones that were more fun, and I really like Ghost for some reason. I don't even know why. Like I couldn't even tell you. Like you could ask me, you really think Ghost is good? And I'd just be like, no, but I like it anyway. And like Gaim's amazing. X8 was super fun. And all that, and Build was great. But I think if someone asked me a kind of like, this is sort of a corny question, but if someone were to ask like, what Kamen Rider series should I watch to like understand you, then I would definitely say this one.
Interesting.
The most me of all the series. And that's including the one that's about doctors and video games. But yeah, like just the whole message and feel of this is that. I think I really appreciate what it's saying, and the story and what everyone went through.
Cool. All right, Raven, give us your take.
All in all, for the whole show as a story, I really got into it at the beginning. Then the tournament arc happened, and I kind of for a bit, and then I think it got better again. About the point when the show really kind of had to change because of the current situation in the world. It's like
The actual arc taking over.
well, yeah, that. That was good. I liked that direction. It's just there was the noticeable things that they obviously had to change because they couldn't do certain things while filming. So
Like they lost a month worth of content.
yeah,
so it's
they
like
did.
Lots of things. probably
Not
had
to
get
mention,
cut.
and then on top of that, they couldn't do crowd shots really anymore. So like all the crowds disappeared. It ended up just being the same bunch of people with no other people around.
There
a
was
lot.
one crowd shot where they were all green screened onto
Yes.
the set.
Oh jeez.
So there was a lot of, if you knew it was there, you noticed.
It was
but-
episode 37 if everyone's interested.
Yeah. So
It's kind of a shame that Zero-One will forever be marked as the show that happened during the pandemic.
yeah, but you know what? I think they made the best of it, honestly.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, I genuinely don't think you'd be
For
able to tell.
the sudden limitations, they did what they did the best they could with it, and I think they made it so they still made the show good despite that.
Yeah.
As a whole, suit designs, oh man, the suit designs in this show were some of my favorites, period. They really outdid themselves with this one.
I gotta say, I absolutely love, like, Zero-One Space Form.
Oh,
yeah, no,
it's like-
Rising Hopper's pretty cool.
It's just... literally,
Well, that was
this
one
is a
thing I
Kamen
forgot
Rider.
to say was they way underutilized the form changes in this one, like even beyond the other series. Like
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
stopped using them after the first arc, and that
Well,
was kind of disappointing.
But I think it's because of the whole fact that, like, the enemies got stronger.
Yeah,
So it's like
the enemies actively got stronger, including the Metsubo Jinrai guys who got better and better as the show went on, and they actively needed upgrades to keep up with these things.
Yeah, maybe if you were a strategist, like a Pokemon trainer or something, you could, like, swap out the keys while battling or something, but...
Yeah.
A bookmark trainer?
Yeah,
Pokemon
Pokemon trainer.
Oh, I
You know,
thought you said a
fuck,
bookmark
like, I mean,
trainer,
it's
and I
like
was
better
thinking,
ability,
what
then
is
it-
that?
No, that's
Yeah.
next season.
Yeah, but
Oh my god!
but
Sorry for
if
interrupting.
I had to, overall, if I had to pick a favorite suit and a favorite form in this entire show, unfortunately, because of how little they used it, 02. I
02
actually
was awesome.
really like 02 over all of the other suits, and just the fight scenes involving it were amazing.
Oh,
Holy shit, did it only appear in like 3 episodes, though.
I fucking love, though, with 02, like, in the second final episode, he's not even fighting Fua. He keeps walking away from him. Fua's like, nah, come on, bro. Come on. Snap out of this. And, like, he just tosses him away, like,
Right.
doesn't give a shit. Proceeds to walk forward.
Right.
Not giving zero shits.
Yeah, and like I was saying last week, I think he just went 02 because he didn't want to kill Fua with Arc
Yeah, that.
1.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't watching the show last week.
Oh, yeah, not Impact in the Discord is saying his favorite Shining Hopper, so he feels my pain. I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
Shining Hopper?
Remember that form that got invalidated, like, the very next
The
episode?
form that we had to kill one of the best characters in the show to get? Wow, was that well used?
Yeah. Remember a character died to get that form just for it to be completely invalidated the very next episode?
It's funny how Ichi says one of the most best characters in the show when he was only there for one episode.
I loved him. I'll get into that when
Wazoo
it's my
was
turn.
pretty fucking dope.
Hey, it was pretty dope how he could connect to
He was
people's fucking
great.
phones and talk to them, like, telepathically.
Right?
Now that's intimidating.
But yeah, no, just 02, the debut, all of the uses thereafter was fucking amazing, and I love it.
The red gloves.
Yeah,
Wasn't
no, I
that
knew
like
it.
where the penny dropped when we figured out that that she was supposed to be Iz?
I got lots of metal cluster hoppers, so
Yeah.
I was happy.
But yeah, the Metal Cluster Hopper was damn cool too. I set another thing with all the designs in this show. The designers in this show were Gundam fanboys. There's no fucking doubt in my mind, based on all of the shit I saw over the course of this series. But yeah, aside from that. Yeah, so anyways, aside from all of that, characters. Aruto, I fucking hated him at the beginning of the show. I will say he did grow on me over the course of the series, and especially by the end, I did like him as a character quite a bit. Fua was my favorite character right from the get-go. He kind of carried the show for me for the first little while. And his whole character arc coming to what it was, I think he was one of the better characters in the show still.
So I think it's unanimous that Fu was overall best character.
I liked
in
him.
Zero-One.
Blaze is 100% correct. Fua is Keishiro from Lupat, if he was a good character.
Ouch.
I disagree.
Yeah, no, I think Keiichiro was pretty good.
They were actually pretty different characters, I think.
Yeah. I wouldn't compare Fuwa to Keiichiro at all.
But anyway,
No, you know what it is? Fuwa.
I'm sorry if that was
Okay,
silly.
it's not my turn, but Fuwa had his arc and became as awesome as Keiichiro. Keiichiro was consistently high across the whole series.
it was just annoying for it the whole time.
He was consistently high.
High on justice.
Doing his job.
Never forget, Kirichiro was the guy that freaking busted down a concrete beam
And brought it to battle.
and brought it to bat because like he was cuffed around it, yeeted it out of the ground, and brought it to the battlefield while morphed.
And he powered through being poisoned. Anyways.
Yeah. But anyways, Yua was certainly a character.
That is definitely a writer.
Generous.
I was really excited for her at the beginning of the show because I was like, oh, hey, we actually get a proper female writer that's going to be here for the whole show, and she's gone. Lol. And she's gone. Okay. But yeah, it was really bad how they underutilized her. Her forms were cool. She was interesting as a character. I think, when the tournament arc happened, they just completely just shoved her character into the ground for a little while.
You are the assistant to Guy.
And then she finally
nothing
snapped
else.
out of it, thank God, and punched him in the face.
You're the assistant to the Kamen Rider. I'm the assistant Kamen Rider? No, you're the assistant to the Kamen Rider.
Oh.
Yeah.
Office joke.
I already bought all this merch of how I'm going to be the assistant Kamen Rider.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so Yua was a lot of, was promising at the beginning and just kind of didn't happen, which is disappointing.
Oh, you should have heard me during the middle of the week where I'm like, do something.
Right.
And then Lane was like, keep watching. Stop overthinking it.
Yeah.
Put on pants.
Yeah. But anyways, then we have Guy who, oh man, he seemed like an interesting villain to me at first. I really liked Thouser's design.
You know he's crazy when he plays chess by himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really thought they were going to explain his immortality, sort of.
He's not immortal. It's just a joke of that.
Really good
man,
makeup.
for a 45-year-old, he looks really young.
Yeah.
But like, we're in a universe where they're constantly talking about androids, and so I just felt like that was leading up to something.
I feel like that was like a we faked ourselves out moment.
My initial prediction for the show was that Aruto would be like a cyborg or something. Just cause. That's why he's able to transform.
I'm kind of glad we didn't go that route.
Yeah.
It was interesting not having it go that route, and
Yeah,
I
think it's
not
fine,
secretly being a robot or a monster or
I think
something.
his character.
Well, no
went
one
fine
was
the way it
secretly anything, really.
No one was secretly anything.
Except Guy being not so secretly an asshole. But yeah.
He's an asshole.
But yeah, no.
I think that's my favorite description of this show. No one was secretly anything.
Really? That was just
Who
me
did
being
this?
an
It was me.
idiot.
Here are my
Right.
fingerprints.
But yeah, so Guy.
Here are my fingerprints.
I thought he seemed like an interesting villain at first, and then he just kind of descended into, no, I'm just doing evil shit and getting away with it for no fucking good reason.
I was actually
You know what it might
astonished
be?
to see him early in the show.
You know what it is?
What?
Amatsu Guy, they just made Kamen Rider Donald Trump.
I mean,
Can you imagine if that was
you're
actually
not
it?
wrong, but
I'm gonna
Do terrible shit and get away with it.
No, you know what he is? He's Disney. I'm gonna buy you out. You're not gonna follow me. I'm buying you out. Which I'm just thinking. I'm like, how did he buy him out if he doesn't want to sell the company?
he bought
And then I
he bought
realized,
shareholders.
he bought shareholders, which makes him.
Which doesn't make sense still, because technically, if Aruto's the CEO, that means he has a majority of the shares.
This is also
So
the
unless
same writer.
Aruto actively sold the shares to Guy, that should not have worked.
I think the idea was
Why?
because he agreed to the tournament arc, he conceded. And
I guess.
It's a bit weird to think about.
It's like, well, I lost. I guess I have to sell it.
Small business deals.
I would call that a small business.
No, and Guy just kind of descended into absolute assholery, not even for good reason, and I just really lost any interest in the character.
I feel like they should have explained more, or hinted more to his motivations rather than having it all be sort of said in one episode.
Money.
Yeah, money. That's a.
What did we do?
No, but I mean the stuff with Bowser the dog and.
He was just lashing out at everyone because he couldn't have his dog.
He was lashing out because Daddy didn't love him enough.
And then they tried to explain it. Yeah. They tried to actively explain what his deal was, and that whole episode I thought was the biggest load of fucking horse shit as an explanation for that character.
I think it was an explanation, I just don't think it was justification.
No, it really wasn't.
They probably were going to
My daddy didn't love me, and I put away my toy dog and lost him forever, and now I must be evil.
My dad has some weird, bizarre thinking that 1,000% is a real score on a test.
Why didn't you just buy the dog the second you became CEO?
Right.
Oh, it was probably...
Why didn't you pay the teachers to give you 1,000% on the test?
Or draw the extra 0.
Put in the effort, boy!
I'm also noticing a lack of mother figures in this show.
Yeah, no one has moms.
Yeah, that.
Lots of dads.
Well, Fu had a
dads.
mom. Fu had a mom.
Lots of dads, lots of dad issues. Not a lot of moms.
Yep.
Anyway.
Man, what's up with Kamen Rider and just daddy issues the franchise?
Maybe that says more about the writers.
But
daddy issue the franchise.
Yeah, okay, moving on. Izu existed. I didn't hate her. I didn't especially like her, but she was definitely a character, and she definitely had a role to play, and I...
Remember that we once lived.
Right? She did what she had to over the course of the series, and yeah. That's about my opinion of Izu.
She served her purpose. She assisted Aruto.
That's it.
That was literally her whole fucking reason of existence.
That's her whole deal.
She served her purpose. She did what she had to. She was the character that she needed to be.
She did do a funny joke that I really love. Way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no.
Metsubo Jinrai?
Yeah, Metsubo Jinrai. Horobi was just kind of annoying for me for the better part of the series. It wasn't really until the end of the show when Arc started showing up that he really kind of stepped up, and I get that was the point. He was supposed to be just the very robotic, I will destroy humanity, monotone character that he was. And then he started actually developing emotions towards the end, and his actor started acting because that was the point.
Yes.
He's like, I hate all this.
And I hate that I hate it.
Right? It's just, he was a cool character to see in all of this. And he just really became a cool character by the end of it. Jin, I really liked in the first place. He was kind of the cool villain for me. And after Horobi died early into the show, it was like, oh, he stepped up and he suddenly became a really cool character. And when he revived, I was so happy because there was a decent villain again. But even though he wasn't really a villain by that point, but I
also like the Immortal Phoenix reference with him, the whole burning falcons.
Yeah.
No,
He came back from the dead and
rose from the ashes.
Okay, yeah.
Look, he's got a cool belt now.
Yeah, Ikazuchi existed. Really. He kind of had 2 episodes of character, and that was about it, and then he just kind of was in the background the whole time. Naki, I think Naki was neat. Naki being just an AI in Fua's head at first was a cool thing. She was there to keep him in line and keep control over him. And then she got her own body, and she kind of struggled to figure out what her purpose and things was.
But she got Wolverine claws.
Yeah. Her rider form was fucking cool. Jeez, okay.
Wolverine!
And her just being... She didn't get to do much. but she was a cool character for what they did do.
Just sucks that she can never become a rider again because her key got destroyed.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could always make another one.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's right.
They could literally just do that.
Yeah.
Alright.
They have the technology, quite literally.
I want to be cheap about it.
Right? But, yeah, no. She was good. There was a lot of other side characters that really I have zero opinion on. They were just there to do their thing, and then they were gone. Feel like I've missed somebody in the midst of all of this.
Trio vice president.
That's the side characters that kind of existed that I was talking about.
Arc.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe I forgot that one. As everyone's already said most of the stuff about him. He was legitimately, Arc was a fucking terrifying villain. The way they presented him, the camera shots making him look like something out of a Japanese horror film half the time. It was really cool. He was just hate personified. And that was really cool to have him pop up and do that. And picking Aizen's voice actor for him was just...
Perfect.
Just damn.
That was, dare I say, the perfect conclusion.
Yes. What you said.
The voice from Aizen from Bleach.
And I'm going to incredibly disagree with Decker on this one. I think Arc Zero was a damn cool suit.
Oh, the white suit?
No, the
Arc Zero.
The main one.
The black.
Yeah,
the black
the suit was cool, but he was scary.
That was it. He was supposed to be terrifying.
It was all like exposed and wiry and robotic, and that was exactly what they were going for.
Frankenstein's monster.
It didn't really fit the aesthetic of what I like in a suit, but it made perfect sense.
Perfect sense. Great design. I absolutely loved it. And the fact that he's just sitting there fucking 3D printing weapons and then just discarding them after a single use and then 3D printing more was just absolutely fucking badass.
Agreed.
Hey, it's how Bandai thinks of this franchise. Create it. Okay, bye.
Sell it, eat it, next one.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he's just invading whatever other body he wants over the course of that, and it's cool. And it's like, yeah, he can't do it to humans, and then the Arc keys happened.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly he could. But, Arc was cool. I really liked the twist with Aruto being Arc 1. Mm-hmm. It's that even after they're trying to revive the Arc, it's going to be Horobi, leading up to it, and then just, boom, here's the Arc. But Horobi's over there, then who? It's Aruto.
He had to face his own hatred, too.
Yeah, and just having that where the main character became the main villain at the end of the show and had to fight through that, and fight through his own hatred of Horobi to get to the end of this, which was, it was a really cool plot twist, and I really like it.
Well, as the saying goes, you either die as the hero or live long enough
to become the villain.
Yeah, that.
Which literally happened before he became Zero-Two.
Yeah.
He died, Arc took over.
And he didn't actually die, that was a simulation.
And I do very much appreciate the little touch with the last episode, the final confrontation just being Horobi and Aruto, like it's been from the get-go of this show.
Yeah.
We came full circle back to these two fighting each other. And it was a really nice way to end it off. I think it capped off the series really well. And as I saw somebody mention earlier in our Discord chat, it kind of is a lot like the final fight from Kuga.
Yeah.
Because they're both equally
two opposing forces, both using the same powers, basically. Just completely equal in every way, just facing off against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the fight was a hell of a spectacle up to that point, too. It was really well done.
I like how they were just drawing weapons out of,
off the ground.
Yeah,
they just 3D printed the living shit out of a bunch of weapons all over the place and started pulling up. That's unlimited blade works.
Yeah,
the joke we keep making about that.
Bring it, bitch.
Yeah, they even brought it. They even brought in the barren, frigging ruined wasteland. So it was like, unlimited blade works. This is how this is.
In overtime, we saw the bumper. It said the whole motorcycle.
It was unlimited blade works.
Yeah. It was just
they literally.
I actually know nothing about Unlimited Blade Works except for the memes and the "I am the bone of my sword" thing.
Yeah, it's they literally this little screenshot the picture they used on Overtime Subs for this episode was just the screenshot from Fate Stay Night of the fucking open field with all the weapons from Unlimited Blade Works.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, haha, Keyblade Graveyard.
Right? As did a lot of people. And I was saying, because I watched the episode over Discord with Dave when it came out, and we were both, I was like, people keep making the Keyblade Graveyard joke, and I'm just sitting here like, no, it's Unlimited Blade Works, bro. They've even been doing Gate of Babylon even before this. This is just a Fate reference here. But
I'm the bone of my soul.
Final thoughts? I really like Zero-One. I think it's probably up there, actually, for me as one of my favorites, as far as Rider goes. It could probably have, if it weren't for the tournament arc, and some of the obvious issues that kind of were necessarily came about because of the whole issues with production because of what happened. If it weren't for those things, it would probably have been higher up, and it probably would have been ranked up there as one of my favorites of all time. But it's definitely it's on the list.
I guess that leaves you, Ichi.
Okay,
Make it quick. Just kidding.
all right. So I'll start with I'll start with character thoughts. Aruto, I think, is probably one of the most human characters in terms of main characters that I've seen come out of Kamen Rider in a long time. Because, like, he starts as this goofball who has basically nothing and basically has a fortune laid upon him, and he's like, oh no, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I'm suddenly in charge of all this. Someone help me!
Yeah, it's all...
And he has Izu thrust upon him who helps him grow and change.
Yep.
And he becomes so dependent on her, and it becomes such a beautiful symbiotic relationship that they share where she supports him and he teaches her about how to be human.
Exactly.
And then when she gets ripped from him, he just does a complete fucking heel turn. Like, I don't watch wrestling, but I understand the point of that term. And he just, like, completely abandons all of his... Like, he just gets tunnel visioned and just goes on a rage bender.
Oh, shit. I just realized that. Think of it. When the first arc was ending, like, Izu got shot by, like, Jin or Horobi. Or, yeah, it was Jin. And, like, she had to be repaired. What did Aruto do? Ended up using the device that the arc made to fight the main battle. At the end of the series, Izu died. He joins Arc.
He becomes Arc 1.
Yep.
That was fucking foreshadowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's some damn good foreshadowing.
And, like, in the end, he decides to not destroy his foe. He decides to forgive him because to err is human, but to forgive
and
divine.
that is legitimately the best thing you can do.
And though he may not come out of it with everything that he lost intact, he's moving forward to the future, and that's all anyone can really do. Sometimes loss happens, you pick the pieces up and you keep going.
And you don't build another robot. See, do you see where I'm getting this?
I get your point, and I respect your opinion. I just don't agree with it. I will say that I agree with what Lane was saying at the start of the show. Aruto seemed really, really fucking annoying, and I wasn't sure I'd be able to tolerate him as a character, but he and Izu worked together so well that it really grew on me.
He's at least better than Sogo.
Anyone's better than Sogo.
Oh, ouch.
Let's really take a step back and say that we have to all agree that part of why Zero-One was so great is that we're coming off of Zio.
Yeah, kind of.
We hit such a low.
I feel so bad, but I actually legitimately forgot Zio existed
Right?
for a
Oh,
moment.
shit. Every day we
Yeah.
try so hard.
For a glorious moment, I forgot.
Even though Waz was awesome and there were some great moments in Zio.
Yeah.
So much like with all the characters in Zero-One, the franchise was at its lowest point. It dug itself out.
Yeah. Izu. Adorable. Like, she was a robot who didn't know what emotions were and was slowly taught over the course of the show, and she was adorable in her naivety, but she slowly learned to flow with Aruto and his style and keep up with everyone. And it was like, I don't think she beats Misora for me in terms of female, like, side characters. You know what I mean? Like, lead females.
Still Kiriko for me.
Who's Misora?
From Build.
All right.
But Izu is definitely up there. Like, her appeal was definitely the whole, like, doing a cute thing because she doesn't understand. And, like, then she had moments where she would, like, dash in at top speed from off screen and come to a screeching halt and just like, holy shit!
But then one episode when Naruto tells her to run, going slower than molasses.
Well, yeah,
It's
I
like
like that she always maintained that little hand pose.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that she didn't end up becoming a rider, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's still time. There's still like fucking 3 movies they're gonna make.
There were so many Kamen Rider Izu concept fan arts I've seen over the last year.
Yeah, you know what? It might not be Izu, it might be us.
Maybe.
I just
have her own arc rider form.
Maybe.
I just thought of this. If they do V Cinemas, they kind of foreshadowed how the team-ups are going to be. Valkyrie and Naki.
Yes.
Orby and Jin.
Fu's going to be a lone wolf.
Fua and Guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Fua and Guy.
Not Fu and Guy.
Yeah. Two opposites having to work together.
No, but it would be funny if Fu was on his own because lone wolf.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Fua. Man, did he piss me off at the start of the show. Through most of the show, anyway. The whole prying the key open.
And then that was just his fucking statement. That was just his this is how I do shit. I just pry shit open.
I am glad that, yes, we did eventually find out that, no, he knows that he's doing it wrong, he just doesn't care. But I'm still kind of mad that he didn't do anything about that. And also, the one other thing about Fua that didn't really come to a payoff is the fact that he was secretly laughing at Aruto's jokes. We came so close several times to him doing it in front of him, but that we never actually got that resolved. Like,
you'll find out eventually, won't he?
Maybe in like a Vulcan V Cinema.
The Vulcan V Cinema, we finally have Aruto find out that Vulcan thinks his jokes are funny.
But yeah, Vulcan was definitely the most dynamic character in the show. He started out as just this asshole who was just angry at the robots, and then he finds out that his backstory is a lie and he's just a normal dude. And he just like realizes he has to find his purpose. And that's one of the themes of the show. It's not only like hatred is bad, but it's also find your own purpose in life. Because Fua had to find his purpose. Yua had to find her purpose.
You made your bed, you lay in it.
Kind of. But yeah, Fua, I definitely warmed up to him in the later half of the show. So, and let me just say now, in terms of suit designs, Orthros Vulcan is fucking rad.
Oh, the final suit that he had at the end of the show?
Yeah. But
I fucking love that. So,
to quickly touch on suit design, the Shot Riser base undersuits kind of weren't my thing, but I do like the way Lightning Hornet looked overall. I thought that was good.
Everyone just seems to agree that Lightning Hornet is...
All of Zero-One's forms ranged from okay to pretty okay.
Kamen Rider, lots of forms.
There wasn't any one form Zero-One had that I hated, but there wasn't any one form that I loved. And then the Force Riser suits, I think, were the best ones in the show. Especially Naki and Ikazuchi in that order. Because Ikazuchi, as people know, was my favorite suit in the whole series until Naki showed up. And that one blew it out of the water.
X-23.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the only one who didn't really care much for Lightning Hornet. It's okay. It's not, like, awful.
Like, out of the form change
Freezing
suits,
Bear is my absolute fucking favorite.
It's a tie between Flaming Tiger and Punching Kong.
I liked a lot of the songs that the forms had, but in terms of suit designs, nothing really...
Never forget Ichi laughing his ass up just seeing fucking Punching Kong like holding the Shot Riser with the fucking giant fist.
Yep. Yeah, that was funny.
I wouldn't.
Downing on my chips, Raven. You're welcome. Fucking bastard.
Okay, so Fua, I've said my piece. Yua, disappointing. Just massive disappointment. It was so exciting at the start of the show to see a female rider be listed right up front.
Yeah,
and then, man, they did her dirty. So bad.
You know they did just to get people to shut up.
Absolutely, and like even the
I hate saying it that way, but it's true.
Yeah, it's such a shame because I would love to see more well-written females. Because like,
hopefully we get a Valkyrie movie.
Yeah, it would have been so easy for them to just give her Fighting Jackal as a proper final form because it would have symbolized her discarding her past self and using the sum of her experiences to move forward. And it would have been almost effortless. All they had to do was swap out the faceplate.
No, that's too much work.
But yeah, like even the actress herself had said she doesn't know what the fuck they were doing with her.
Honestly, I just showed up, got paid, and went home.
She always looked so unenthused anytime she was on screen, and that's why when we watch the anime, you hear her sounding happy, and it fucking scared us.
No. You know what it is, unfortunately? She's Leonard Nimoy going to conventions, doing the whole Spock thing, everyone losing it, stopping, no one cares, because she did the whole flip of the progress key thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was oh man, look how cool that was. Oh my goodness. That's it.
Yeah. To quickly touch on some early game minor characters. Ansatsu-chan, holy shit, star of the show, early game. I am so mortified that did not continue.
Yeah.
I get we had to shift into more...
sort of disappeared.
I get we had to shift into a more serious tone.
Got killed.
But like, oh man, that was so good while it lasted. And we were so ready for him to be Ikazuchi, and then Raiden just comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Oh, he's our sleeper agent.
I hated that.
But why?
I actually hated that. It should have been Ansatsu the whole fucking time. He should have been the fourth member.
It's like they didn't know what to do with Ikazuchi because they didn't plan on doing an Ikazuchi. It was just,
I like the concept that they had a sleeper agent in Heaton because they wanted access to Zaya.
It makes perfect sense that they did.
They didn't do a whole lot with it.
Because it was just done in one episode.
And Ryan just decides that anyway, just give me an astronaut because you guys are fucking stupid.
And then, and then he just, after he does his debut episode, he just fucks off for half the show.
Oh my god.
And then when he comes back, he barely does anything.
No, now that's a crossover.
Didn't fuck off for half the show. Fucking died.
No.
I count that as fucking off from a writing perspective.
To revive him until way later.
He just went up to every Metsubo Jinrai character. Dude, what the fuck's your deal?
No, that's it. Kamen Rider Ikazuchi and Kamen Rider Forza teaming up with Kamen Rider Super-One, and they fight in space.
That'd be cool.
This is Raiden going up to Horby. You're an idiot. Or, you an idiot? No, let me rephrase that. You're an idiot.
Were you an idiot? No, let me rephrase that. You're an idiot.
And on the topic of hilarious and adorable characters that were discarded far too soon, Wazoo. Man, what a one-episode wonder.
Oh, you know he was just there to be the sacrifice.
And it's so sad that the sacrifice was made completely invalidated less than 3 episodes later.
Well, it's not his fault that fucking Bowser built something stronger than everything else. Fucking Yua being the double-agent spy, freaking spying on everyone.
Oh man, but I really wish...
What, Benedict Arnold?
What?
Benedict Arnold?
I thought you were saying I want to bang something.
No.
Wazoo was great. They took him far too soon. Ansatsu was taken from us far too soon. Metsubo Jinrai, the other members. Horobi, really bland, but I get it. He was a robot who was
supposed to be at first.
The point of him was he was non-emotional, and it's just humans bad, kill them.
Until the end, where it was like, no, they needed him to start off that monotone and bland.
The point of him was the journey he took.
The point was the journey and the gaining of emotion, so they needed him to be...
Yes, and by contrast, Jin being over-emotional was played very well, I think.
What am I? You say I'm your son, but you don't act like a parent. What am I supposed to act like a kid? What am I? Hey, oh, Belle.
Jin was another very dynamic character. He started as this really weird dichotomy of childish and murderous. It was literally handing a child a gun.
Yeah.
That's what Jin's character was at the start.
I think it was with Horby as well, because like he was a father human gear. So I think even though he was on his whole like destroy humanity thing, he still had like a little bit of his original programming in him, so he had to be...
All right, son, now here's how you shoot a gun.
Yeah, exactly. So he still had a bit of that father programming in him, but it was more overtaken by the destroy humanity thing.
So he's like Tregear.
And no, I wouldn't compare those two together.
But Jin coming back as this like refined edgelord rebellious thing, it seemed really off at first because it seemed to come out of nowhere. But like Jin sort of took a turn for the better because he realized like Aruto isn't so bad, and like
Blaze has a good point.
what happened to Mitsubo Jinrai's spare ass?
Remember the bug?
Oh, there's this like bottom part of a mannequin constantly in the Mitsubo Jinrai net.net base, and it was just an ass.
Yeah.
So there was a fucking naked mannequin in the freaking Hiden lab.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There are a bunch of random tools in the lab as well, never used. They're just props.
But yeah, it was interesting that Jin sort of ended up as the biggest like anti-villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just didn't like that he felt like he kept switching sides.
His motivation the whole show was always the freedom of Humagears, and because of everyone around him, the avenue to achieve that was constantly changing.
So he's Caesar in Planet of the Apes.
I don't know that, so...
Greencastle right here.
Well, he's not.
He probably is. He's probably just standing outside.
Yeah.
But I thought Jin was really interesting. Like, I much preferred his first suit design because the bird on the helmet was really cool. Burning Falcon was just a logical next step for him form-wise, but I like the old helmet better. But yeah, Jin, very interesting, compelling writing because it was always interesting to see what he was going to do next. Naki, loved the idea. Starting out as an AI inside Fua's head, getting her freedom, realizing she doesn't know what she wants to do, and deciding to support the people around her, whether that be Mitsubo Jinrai or Fua or whoever, and eventually coming to Ames. I feel like this should have been stretched out over a longer period, but you work with what you gotta.
So overall,
the side characters who you keep talking about, Fukuzoe, Vice President. I feel like there should have been, Fukuzoe.
oh,
I feel like there should have been more of him scheming to get rid of Aruto. Like
Zoe more like fuckboy.
he was always like, "Oh look, you failed. Now you'll have to quit." And that was always a result of external circumstances, but I feel like there should have been more of, haha, I'm scheming a thing that will get him fired, ha ha ha!
Oh no, there was no time in the story for that.
Yeah, and I feel like we could have made time if the show had proper pacing, but that's because of the invasion. I understand that.
Not even that, just... They're not the focus.
Yeah. Amatsugai, holy hell. Man, was I just unimpressed the entire run. Like, he plays his character well. That character just wasn't compelling. This is the character, not the actor I'm talking about. He just walked in, slapped his big money dick around, and went, I own you now. And there's nothing you can do about it. I'm gonna do terrible, absolute shit that anyone could get arrested for. But I'm not going to do anything, but no one's going to do anything about it. Why? Because I'm the owner of Zaya. Come at me. Or don't come at me, because whatever. And...
He's like Tombstone. No one can touch him.
And the whole backstory was absolutely not justifying. Like...
I disagree.
He talked to the therapy robot. He let out his feelings.
He did. He did talk to the therapy
He's like...
robot. Best character
one therapy session with an AI robot to undo years of just being a shitty person?
No, but
it was steps.
Starting to realize.
It was steps.
Okay, let's say that did completely change his mind, and now he feels bad for all the stuff he did. He wants to be a better person. That's great. Unfortunately, he has about 1,800 counts of terrible shit he's done that he has to make up for. So let's pull out a My Name is Guy series and get cracking. I will, as I mentioned last week, moving Yua and Ames back to government control, putting her in charge, excellent first step. I will say that I'm kind of weirdly glad that he didn't die. I called for his death earlier, but now I'm kind of glad that he didn't, because now he can set to making up for his mistakes.
Right.
But man, the whole Aibo dog being the reason for his story was really took the wind out of me, because up until that part, I was like, there's got to be a reason for all this, like something justifying him being so bad, and like
he had
the dad issues was, I feel like, put most of the effort behind that, but then you you lost your little toy robot dog. Okay, fucking.
It's not that he lost it. His dad made him believe that it's holding him back.
Yeah. Anyways, we said this all plenty. Okay. Overall thoughts. Zero-One was a series that I would describe as mostly great. Flaws, but what show doesn't? In terms of ranking, I think Zero-One for me is number 3. Build and Gaim are still my top 2.
In that order?
Yeah. Number 1 is Build, Gaim second, very close second. And as I've mentioned, the reason Gaim is second is because Build did not have to overcome the stupidity of Fruit Locks. And Zero-One is a close third, because man, that tournament arc really pulled it down.
Try watching it as a whole instead of week to week. You may have a different experience.
I will say that Zero-One gave me my new favorite monster design in the Splashing Whale Raider, which is and beating the Castle Hazard Smash is a tough challenge for me. I don't know. Maybe I'll rewatch it someday, but that's definitely not going to happen until all Zero-One related things are out, including whatever movies and V-Cinemas come later. But yeah, I would say mostly good. And now we are moving forward, and Saber is starting this weekend, and I am very, very excited.
I'm just happy that we're back to magic, because holy fuck, it's been like
so much technology.
4 fucking years of technology.
Yeah, but like
you call Zeo technology?
Yes.
It was fucking time magic.
It's technology.
I gotta say, I think I'm not a fan of magic.
You don't believe in magic?
Well, no, it's not that. I just don't like the concept of magic. I like Harry Potter I read and stuff like that, and I like that because like it was a good fucking story. But yeah, I like robots and I like technology, and
that's fine. I like both.
Shit.
What makes a good series, what makes a series good or bad, isn't whether it decides to use magic or technology. It's how well they do either. Because I like both.
Also, Saber's not considered the 50th anniversary project, is it?
I don't know.
No.
I feel like if it was, the advertising would be way more in our faces about that.
Yeah, I think the next season after Saber is going to be the 50th anniversary project.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, Kamen Rider Zero-One, holy fuck, you were a better show than Zeo.
That wasn't hard.
I will say it was better than Zeo for sure. For sure.
No bar.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't put it in like my top 5 list.
He's
I
saying,
don't know if it's top 5 for me, but it's damn close.
like,
It's good.
well, you know what I could say? It is number 1 in my top 10 favorite Reiwo Kamen Rider shows.
You shit.
And that's Aruto, folks!
Yeah! Garuto Janaito!
Garuto Naito!
God, why did I say Garuto?
See, this is why I didn't watch the entire show. Decker, shut the fuck up, Gar.
Wow, long episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for watching,
And
listening, liking, favoriting, sharing, subscribing.
What's our feature topic next week? Oh, there isn't one because it's going to be the first episode of Saber.
Yeah, we're gonna Death of Saber.
Yes, so next week on, Jika Radio Sentai Castranger. As is our tradition, whenever the first episode of a show debuts, we forego a feature topic again, so we can speculate, theorycraft, and just give our first opinions on that new show, which is Kamen Rider Saber.
You know what? One of the thumbnails for Saber has to be just the shot of the fucking palace guards from Aladdin. Just, we all have swords! That's gonna be a thumbnail one
I could chop them all into their swords, too.
It's gonna be a thumbnail.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fantastic.
We'll see if we can make that joke next week. Or like the first time they all fight together.
Yeah.
We'll see you next year, Zero-One.
We'll see you with your 3V cinemas. Like, watch.
It's weird that we haven't confirmed
we're gonna
the
get,
V cinemas,
no,
but we know they're
gonna
happening.
do the two. They're gonna do the two-for thing again. We're gonna get a Horby and Jin movie, Vulcan and Valkyrie movie, and then a standalone Thouser movie.
No, it's gonna be Thouser and Guy or Thouser and Ua.
No, because Valkyrie and Vulcan are the team. Are the partners.
No, it's not. No, it's gonna be
let's remember that the Gaim Gaidens were unlikely cross pairings.
Anyways,
we had Duke and Knuckle and Baron and Zungets.
Yeah, Horby and Jin movie,
Wasn't
Vulcan,
that
Valkyrie, and
voted on,
Thouser.
I don't know. And then in Eggs Age, we had fucking...
Is Naruto gonna get shot like Emu did? I fucking hope so.
No,
That'd be hilarious.
amazing.
No, Naruto's gonna get stuck in the satellite, and Ikazuchi's gonna have to save him in his solo movie.
I still love that was the excuse why fucking X-Aid wasn't
Ikazuchi and Naki.
I love that's why the X-Aid wasn't in any of the
Like,
fucking movies, because it was just like...
Did we stop recording?
No, we're still going.
No, we're still going.
Wait, we're still going?
I just thought of something. It'd be really cool if in Kamen Rider Saber,
Ikazuchi and Knuckles.
they're just walking around, and we see human gears.
Yeah.
Come on.
There was a quote-unquote episode 0 of Kamen Rider Saber I saw where they read a news article about Zero-One.
But no. I want full-on human gears in the background.
Yeah, continuity in a fucking Rider show.
Wouldn't that be so interesting though? If like just to make the Reiwa era different, every series leaves a mark on the next.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I would love that actually.
I want my goddamn continuity in my Kamen Rider.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
None of this multiverse bullshit. Then again, okay, now I'm sounding like a hypocrite because that's Ultraman.
Blaze, it's an isekai in that there is a real world and then there is a isekai world that they go to. Wonder World, I think it's called.
We'll get Ai-chan Thouser.
We'll talk about that.
Anyways.
Nintendogs featuring Thouser.
All right.
I think we've gone on for plenty long enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
I gotta go to work tomorrow.
All right. Thank you all
too.
for listening, liking, watching, favoriting, sharing, subscribing. Don't forget that the primary source of our hijinks is castranger.poppy.com. From there, you can find all our things. Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, Discord, merchandise, and all the other platforms we stream on. So, as usual, don't forget to use the Skip the Dishes code in our description for money off your first order. And we will see you next week for the debut of Kamen Rider Saber.
Woo.
Alright, one last idea. Daybreak SimCity.
No.
It's SimCity, but with Daybreak Town.
No. Daybreak Town's fucking broken.
SimCity was pretty broken when they added those online only features.
Anyways.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and thank you for listening.
Don't be hating.
Garuto-chan Naito.